All right, welcome to this video right here. Today, I'm going to cover everything you need to know to generate millions of dollars in email and SMS revenue in 2025. So with that being said, let me dive right into it. What we've got on the agenda today, first, we've got customer research, and then keeping an eye on deliverability, high converting lead capturing system. I'm going to cover having a core flow infrastructure, having a balanced email calendar, frequency and consistency, optimization over aesthetics, and then I'm going to cover at the end a very solid A/B testing framework that if you want to scale your e-commerce brand, this is going to be a must have. Okay, so that being said, let me dive right into it. First things first, the pillar number one to generate millions of dollars in 2025 is understanding your customers to the T. First things first, why market research? Why not get started with like creating copy right off the bat and just create emails and ads and all that? Well, that's because the difference between marketing that converts and marketing that doesn't convert is how well you understand your customer, your target audience. And I cannot stress this enough. This is extremely important for you to understand. If you understand your customer to the core, then it's going to be extremely easy to create copy that's going to resonate with your audience and then make money, essentially, right? That way, by understanding your target audience, you'll be able to tap into resonating pain points, desires. Just tap into those pain points, highlight their desires and how your solutions allow people to get from A to B, B being a state where they have all the desires covered because of your solution. And then that's gonna allow you to connect at a deeper level, as I mentioned before, with your customers. And so that allows you to, again, create copy that's gonna seem like you understand. When you read copy for a product and then they highlight your pain points exactly word to word, then you know that they understand you, right? So it is way easier. The buying process is way easier for you as a customer because you trust that brand. You can clearly see they understand you, they understand your pain points, your motivations, where you want to get, where you want to be essentially as well. So the buying process is way shorter and easier when you know someone. I mean purchasing from someone that understands you is way easier than purchasing from someone that doesn't really understand you, right? It's pretty simple. So that's why market research is extremely important. It's actually crucial no matter what marketing you're doing, right? And hopefully you know this by now. Hopefully being in the space very well or not, you must know that market research is the backbone for every single powerful marketing strategy out there. Again, whether it is paid ads, whether it is social media content, emails, whatever it is, okay? Now, the first thing we need to do when it comes to market research is starting with product research, right? So understanding your products, your competitive advantages, and then, so if, let's say, for example, you're selling, we're working with like Magic Spoon, right? And you're selling protein cereal. Then you need to understand exactly what the competitive advantages your product actually has over your competitors. If you don't have any advantage, then that's going to be a big issue. And so that's why like having a great product is going to be the most important thing. So I want you to write down the competitive advantages you have over your competitors. And then I want you to also write down the benefits that your product has, right? So in this case, let's say we're selling like protein cereal, then the benefits could be high protein. So it is way easier to get your protein goals every single day if you're into fitness. Keto friendly. So if you have a specific diet, 0 grams of sugar. So it's gonna allow you to satisfy your sweet tooth without getting actual sugar in, right? Gluten-free, grain-free, natural flavors. That's natural if you're into that as well. So that's why here I said turn features into benefits. So we don't really care about like 0 grams of sugar. The benefit here is, of course, again, satisfying your sweet tooth, your cravings without getting sugar in, like more calories in, right? So yeah, first things first is you have to understand your product. And here you have to let the ego aside and stop thinking that you actually know your product or your customers already, okay? So do some research, or like not research, but in this case, write down your competitive advantages, turn features into benefits, and finally, take a look at your reviews. And this applies to like customer research and also product research. So you understand what your products are talking, what your customers are talking about when it comes to your product. So reviews could be on your product pages, so your Shopify account could be on your Amazon page as well, right? So yeah, for example here, blah blah blah, like eat sugar. She's not been able to eat sugar her whole pregnancy, and so she wanted cereal, and since this has like 0 grams of sugar, then it makes sense for her, right? So it could be like a pregnancy angle, potentially, email, ad, whatever. So let's see, there's like plenty of very good reviews. Of course, it's a great product. So let me see if I can lowest rating, we can find a low, quite feeling a bit too sweet. Pricing, right? So here he's talking about the price, right? Very good, but too expensive. So that could be one thing to keep in mind. And you could, like, one of the angles you could take here is not addressing the problem, right? You could address you can say something like along the lines of, yes, this is expensive, but this is what you get, right? And I've seen that angle multiple times where brands don't hide the fact that their products are pricey. They're pretty upfront about it, but they actually justify the price with many things, right? Didn't like this, okay. The bars, they taste like cardboard. So again, taste, that's another angle. So some people don't like the taste. They don't taste good at all. Okay, taste. So taste is kind of the biggest negative kind of review here. The biggest like setback for many people. So yeah, that's why understanding your products, what makes your products better or worse, or what are the negative points as well. And then starting with this, like product research, and then you can do customer research, which is going to be, of course, 80% of the entire work, because that's where the true important information is, right? Again, understand your customer is the most important thing here. So the first thing you need to understand is their belief system. And so through what beliefs they actually make decisions. So you can, for example, tap into their potential objections, etc. So you can understand. So I'm going to cover where to find this information later. But for now, please note that you have to understand their beliefs, the belief system of your customer audience. So through what beliefs they make decisions, right? What are the belief system? What are their objections, potential objections? What might be preventing them from purchasing from you? What could be their setbacks, etc., etc. Second, we've got pain points, frustrations, challenges. For example, lack of time, it's very expensive, very complicated to use, etc. It tastes like crap. In this case, for example, it could be one frustration. Or it's very expensive, right? It's very expensive. That's another one, which we actually saw on the review real quick. Desires to be great looking, desires, motivations, goals, to have a great body. That could be one for this specific cereal. Desire to, satisfy my sweet tooth without getting sugar in, without getting a lot of calories. That could be another one as well, right? What's their identity and how they're looking to become? This is really important. So here we need to understand what their demographics are, and this is where the customer avatars come to play. So understanding your customer audience, what's their identity, and who they want to become, right? So if they are a student and then they want to become a rich person, that's extremely like surface level, but you get the point, right? Here we have potential questions they have about your product and their unique mechanism, right? So if you have like for magic cereal, for instance, I don't know, how does it taste? Is it good? Right? That could be some of the most common questions, I guess. And again, I'm gonna cover where to find this info later. But for now, just keep that in mind. Competitors, obviously. So here we're doing customer research, but we're also doing competitor research, which is extremely important. So, for example, here in this case, this is one of their competitors, and I was looking at their reviews, right? So you write down the good reviews, what makes them good or great, bad reviews, and then some notes on their products as well, right? And then other solutions they've tried for, and then you can just write down the benefit your product offers. So for example, again, satisfying sweet tooth, they might have tried gum, right? Or a sugar-free, like Coke Zero, for example. You know what I mean? Like, it's extremely important to understand what they've tried before, not related to your industry, right? or your products, okay? So that's for customer research and a little bit of like competitor research. And then we've got where to find this extremely valuable information. It's gonna really take your marketing to the next level. Well, since this is an email marketing channel, then of course you have to subscribe to their email marketing list, which is extremely important. For example, in this case, I subscribe to Surreal, which is a competitor of Magic Spoon, right? And I was looking at the emails. They're pretty good, by the way. I've been subscribed to their list for a while, to be honest with you. And so that would be the first step. Just subscribe to your competitors' email list, see exactly what they're doing, what types of emails are they using, what angles, etc., what language, copy, unique selling points they're covering, etc., etc., etc. That's the first step. Second is Facebook Ads Library. So go into Facebook Ads Library, right? Type in Facebook Ads Library in here. Go here, and then all ads, and then I don't know, protein cereal, and then you'll find a bunch of not only competitors, but of course ads as well, like a bunch of them. And this is extremely cool because you can see you can get some inspiration from it. For example, this is a comparison ad, and you can totally make an email about this, for example, right? Or an ad that's actually very similar to this one, and then instead of like using Nesquik, you can use another one, and you can just highlight another, like other points, if that makes sense, right? There's a bunch of inspiration. I mean, the Facebook Ads Library is extremely valuable, and again, you can take a lot of inspiration from this and understand again your customer audiences, and then what they're talking about, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Well, I actually covered this. Subscribe to your competitors list. And then take a look at the reviews, as I mentioned before, so Shopify, and then your Amazon pages as well, because on Amazon, people just ask a bunch of questions, okay? And then, of course, same thing with your competitors reviews here, same process. And you can also use Quora and Reddit, which I really like for competitor research. For example, if you go to Reddit, and then I type in protein cereal, there's, in your opinion, when it comes to low-cal, high-protein cereals, what's the best option in terms of cost and flavor? For example, protein cereal tastes better than the real deal, and then you can see what people are. Oh, this is actually Magic Spoon photo right here, and then you can just see their comments, see exactly what they think. This is real people, right? These are your potential customers. These are your customers, most likely. So it's extremely valuable to understand what they're talking about, right? And their complaints, what they love, etc., etc., etc. And then, of course, like the good old ChatGPT. For now, we actually do market research manually. I think that's extremely important. And sometimes ChatGPT, especially for newer brands, it doesn't really give you accurate information most of the time. I mean, I wouldn't say like most of the time, but a lot of times. So we do use ChatGPT for like making the information easier to read. So we actually create an entire kind of a Google Doc with a bunch of information, and we just have ChatGPT organize it and make it, just clean it up essentially, right? That's the main, that's what we use like ChatGPT for mostly, okay? And that's it. Finally, I've got some final thoughts here. So when it comes to market research, and this is gonna be really important to be honest with you, first things first, if you're a business owner or marketer, whatever, let ego aside and stop thinking you know your products and your customers. Stop doing it, right? Do some research, and then you can actually say that. But from the get-go, I've seen, and this is a huge mistake I see all the time. I've worked with, at this point, like hundreds, I'd say like more than 100 brands, e-commerce brands, and whether it is the founder, whether it is the I don't know, the marketers, etc., they don't do any market research because they think they know what their customers want. And I can guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, that's not the case at all, right? You don't know your customer as much as you think. Please just drill this into your mind, please. You don't know your customer as much as you think. And don't make assumptions. Let the data speak. Data or research speak for itself, okay? The pillar number 2, which is keeping an eye on deliverability at all times, okay? which is extremely, extremely important. So high deliverability rates are the backbone of successful email marketing. What's the point of having great emails, amazing strategy, if they all land in the spam folder, right? The first thing a brand should do is to make sure that their emails that you spend a bunch of time and resources creating are landing in primary or promotions tabs, right? Otherwise, you'll be wasting a lot of time, resources, money, etc. Optimizing deliverability is the first action step when we are actually working with a new e-commerce brand. So making sure that the emails are landing where they should be landing, okay? Now, how to spot damage deliverability. First things first, your campaign open rates have dropped below 30%. This is the first sign that your deliverability is completely damaged across the board. Also, you can check it by domain. So very often, some email providers may have some deliverability problems while others do not. For example, let me show you right now on a Klaviyo account how that looks like. So if you go to analytics dashboards and then overview dashboard here, and you add this card, which is called email deliverability by domain, you'll see all the domains here, all the inbox providers, and then what the open rates are looking like in this case, for the last, let's do 30 days or 90 days is fine too. So we have a better view of what things are looking like. So here, Gmail is looking fine. As you can see here, Hotmail is looking okay. Honestly, for this account, most of the providers are looking okay. I would say potentially like Outlook, Hotmail might need some optimization, but other than that, it is looking fine. Sometimes, for example, for some brands, Gmail is looking like crap, below 30%, while the others are looking fine. So make sure to go in here, dashboards again, overview dashboard, and then add this card right here in order to take a look at what the inbox providers are looking like when it comes to the open rates, okay? Very important step as well. Third step is to, of course, the Google Postmaster, which is extremely helpful, especially for Google inbox providers. And then you'll be able to see, you'll be able to get great insights into current domain health. Most brands and agencies completely ignore these two. I don't know why, but it is extremely helpful to, again, spot damage deliverability in case you have it, okay? Very important. Now, reasons why your domain reputation might be damaged. First things first, low engagement rates. So open rates plus click rates. Having low open and click rates will result in poor deliverability because you'll be seen as a spammer in the inbox provider's eyes. 2, high spam rates. This one is pretty straightforward. If people hate you emailing them, you'll be marked as a spammer too often. For example, if this happens above 0.01%, you lead your send reputation on fire. So make sure that the actual emails you send are relevant and engaging as well. And then finally, high unsubscribe rates. Although not as damaging as this one right here, too many people above 0.3% unsubscribing from your emails too frequently can impact your send reputation negatively. So in a nutshell, make sure your emails are great and people actually enjoy them, okay? Which is something I'm gonna cover later. But for now, please keep those in mind. Now, stop wasting your time. The reason why deliverability is so important is because it doesn't matter how good your email copy design, segmentation, overall email strategy is. If your emails consistently land in the spam folder, then you're completely wasting your time and leaving a lot of money on the table. So before focusing on content ideation strategy for this 2025, focus on making sure your deliverability is on point. So we've got two situations right here. Situation number 1 and then situation number 2. The only difference here is the open rates, because for this one right here, the deliverability is damaged, and then for this one it's not. They have the same lead size, everything is pretty much the same. And as you can see here, they even have the same click rate because the emails are the same. So the only difference is the open rates, and it translates into, of course, double the revenue for the brand that doesn't have damage deliverability at the end, okay? That's why it just shows you the importance of having, again, a great sender reputation before you do anything else, all right? Moving on, we've got how to fix damage deliverability, which is really important to know as well, right? Step 1, clean email list from unengaged, bounce, and the market spam emails. So to improve and maintain strong deliverability, it is essential to suppress the following segments. First, bounce emails. So we've got two types of bounces, hard bounces. So these emails are permanently undeliverable, often due to typos, deactivated accounts, or invalid domains, or soft bounces. This could be like temporary issues like a full inbox or server problems. Although they may resolve on their own, regularly cleaning your list prevents a buildup of soft bounces as well, which is really key for great deliverability. So this is definition for this segment right here, okay? Person has bounce email is at least 3 overall time, where bounce type is equals soft, or person has bounce email at least once overall time, where bounce type equals hard. And of course, person can receive email marketing. And then the other segment to clean from your email list is the marked as spam emails. This includes contacts who have marked you as a spammer, as spam. So continuing to send emails to these recipients can seriously harm your deliverability. So what's the definition here? Person has marked email as spam at least once for a time, or person, it should be person can receive email marketing, right? Finally, unengaged contacts. So these are people who have not interacted with your emails in a long time and are unlikely to do so in the future. So keeping them on your list lowers your deliverability and increases your Klaviyo bill without any real benefit. So definition here, person has received email is at least 10 overall time, and person has opened email 0 times in the last 180 days, and person has clicked email 0 times in the last 180 days, and person can receive email marketing. So how to suppress these from your account? For example, in this case, if I go to list and segments here, let's say this is the segment, I just click here and then I click on suppress current members. Easy as that, okay? Now, moving on. So step 2 to make sure you've got to fix your deliverability is turn off non-crucial flows. So apart from the welcome flow, browse abandonment, cart and checkout abandonment, and thank you flow, other flows generally don't deliver high engagement rates. To maximize engagement metrics, at least in the short term, it's best basically to concentrate on these high performing flows only. So these non-crucial flows could be sunset unengaged, customer winback, site abandonment, review collection, birded flow, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, step 3, send to engaged segments only. So start with engaged 15 days for a couple of weeks or 3 to 5 emails. You can monitor open rates. If they're above 50%, expand time window to 30 days. If they are below 50%, keep sending to this segment for an extra 3 to 5 emails. And then you can repeat process until you expand to engage 180. So you can do engage 15 days, engage 30, engage 60, engage 120, and then engage 180. So these are the conditions for the engage segment. Person has open email or clicked or active on site or view product or added to cart or checkout started or place an order in the last 180 days, okay? And of course, they can receive email marketing here. I can see it, but it's there. So pretty straightforward, okay? Now, quick recap when it comes to deliverability, which is one of the most important pillars, is first, clean your email list from unengaged, market spam, and bounce emails. Turn off non-crucial flows to maximize engagement metrics. Send to engaged segments exclusively. And fourth, expand sending window based on deliverability metrics, okay? So that's that for basically your sending reputation. So yeah, those are like 5 extra tips for great deliverability. Limit links in your emails as much as possible. Compress images to reduce file size. Send campaigns, encouraging subscribers to add you to your email address contacts. Mark it as important. Move it to the primary tab or reply. Fourth, determine the best and send day and time by running tests constantly. And then fifth, utilize plain text emails more. Use them for better deliverability and conversions. All right. Now, pillar number 3 is never stop optimizing your pop-up. Today, I'm going to be going over how to create a high converting pop-up for your e-commerce store. So that way you convert your traffic optimally and you generate as much revenue as possible. Because of course, like the pop-up is going to be the backbone of your entire email marketing strategy. If you're not converting people as many people as you could, then you'll be leaving a lot of money on the table because you'll be receiving less people into your email funnels, welcome series, abandoned checkout, etc. So the pop-up is going to be the first step to have a great email marketing system. So with that being said, let's dive into how to create a high converting pop-up. But before I do that, let me go over some great examples as well as the different elements of a pop-up. And then finally, the mistakes to avoid before I dive into how to create the actual pop-up. So here I gathered some examples from different brands that I really like. I'm going to go over every single one of these examples, and then I'm going to tell you why I like them. So for example, for this example right here, we've got a 10% off, which is a pretty standard offer. What I really like, and this is something we've tried with clients, and this is something you should try too if you haven't, is in the first step of a pop-up, not having the email address block in there and just asking first if they want to receive the discount, right? So here they're asking, would you like 10% off everything in store? Yes, and then on the next step, you can have the actual email block. They're not actually having that block in the first step, as I mentioned before. And for whatever reason, this converts, in most cases, better than just having the email block right off the bat, right? And then they also have some social proof in here, which looks pretty cool. Here, same thing, they are asking for a question first. Well, not question, but they're basically having a warming question or warming step before the actual email block. So yes, I want the deal. I click here and then I receive the actual email block, right? Same thing here. Do you want 100%, $100 off your first order? Yes, I do. So they're asking me a question here. Again, this works extremely well for whatever reason. It works better than having the actual email block before. I guess is because we are actually getting some micro commitments from the client already. So if they click, yes, I do, they will most likely give us their email in exchange for the coupon code, if that makes sense. Here, very straightforward. And when it comes to pop-ups, and this is something we're going to touch on later, is simple works better than very complicated copy and a lot of copy. When it comes to the pop-up, again, very simple copy, short, concise, to the point, works way better. So hey, here's 15% off. Enjoy science-backed insights on optimizing your day, plus other discounts by signing up for our newsletter. That's it, very simple. And the email block right there. Here, and this is something I really like, it's called collecting zero-party data. They are collecting data about the customer even before giving them the option to provide their email to get the discount code, right? And this is something I already touched on another YouTube video I created I think 2 weeks ago, is the importance of collecting zero-party data, because that way they can personalize the welcome series and the copy and the offerings based on the results and just overall the what the client responded here, right? So you've got 30% off a Squatch subscription. To claim it, share which kind of soap you're currently using, and then they can select the actual soap, and then they receive the option to provide the email to get the discount code, which is very smart because again, they're collecting zero-party data in a very smart, natural way, okay? And finally, here we have a free item, as you can see, it is extremely simple. Limited time only, free item, and that's it. That's the offer, and that's the copy. Very, very simple right here. So that being said, let's dive into the different elements of a pop-up by order of importance, and this is really important. First things first, the offer is king. So the offer is by far the biggest needle mover when it comes to your pop-up. If your offer sucks, it doesn't really matter how good the copy is, how beautiful the pop-up is, it's not going to convert optimally. What I mean by offer, I mean 10% off, 20% off, free gift with purchase, free shipping, a higher percentage. It could be cashback as well, a cashback offer. It could be a giveaway, etc. So if you're gonna A/B test something within your pop-up, make sure it is the offer first, and make sure you already found the winner offer, because again, like a difference between a different colors in your pop-up or a different word within your copy or whatever is not gonna move nearly as much as having a different offer. So like, for example, having $20 off versus 20% off. You never know what's gonna work best, so make sure you actually test that, okay? Second, we have the copy. So having a different copy, obviously, this is gonna have potentially an impact in your pop-up, so make sure you A/B test the copy later. And then finally, which is the less important thing, of course, it is important as well, but I wouldn't say, again, it moved the needle as much as the offer or the copy, but mostly the offer. Is the design. So the colors, photos, whatever, I mean, all of those elements it's nice to test them, A/B test them, but again, it's not gonna make a huge difference, okay? And something I could add as well here is between, I would say, offer and copy is the triggers, right? So the triggers are like, for example, it's like showing the pop-up, for example, 8 seconds later versus 12 seconds later after landing on your store. Those are the triggers, or exit intent, right? Things like, or like scroll percentage as well. A/B testing those, it's gonna make a difference more than, in my experience, than copy and design overall in general, right? I mean, it depends. I mean, copy could go here as well. But I would say like design is by far the less important thing here. So that being said, let's dive into the biggest mistakes I see brands make when it comes to their pop-up. So first things first is like their offer is really weak. Let's say you have a $100 product and then you're giving out $5 off. That's nothing, man. So of course, like it's not attractive at all. So people will not give you their email address because of $5. And that's why I mentioned before, the offer is king here. So the offer should be the first thing you actually A/B test and see the impact of, okay? The triggers are off. So sometimes I see brands, I don't know, like for example, for desktop showing the pop-up 30 seconds later after landing, which is too much in my opinion, or like 2 seconds later, which could be too soon. I mean, for some brands, it's okay. I haven't seen any difference, but for some brands, when you show the pop-up very soon, so like, or like right after landing on the store, then it actually, it's very off-putting, if that makes sense. So again, A/B test the triggers and see which ones convert the best, right? Asking for too much information, that's another big one as well. It's like on the first, for example, on the first step of the pop-up, they'd have email, they have a phone as well, which is also a required block. So they're asking for email plus mobile plus asking a question. It's too much, right? So you want to ask one thing per step, all right? And we're going to create a pop-up later on this video, so stick with me. But this is really important, not asking for too much information right off the bat, and also not asking for too much information in one same step of the pop-up as well. So break that down into multiple steps, okay? Not optimized for devices, which is really important as well. I see many brands using the same pop-up for both mobile and desktop. It's really important to have separate pop-ups for each device and then have different triggers for each device as well, because the triggers are different for both, for desktop and mobile, right? So you wanna make sure the pop-up is actually optimized for every single device. And then finally, not clear enough, too much copy. And this is something I see all the time, is like having a lot of information crap together in the pop-up, and then yeah, just it becomes very confusing. If people sign up to your pop-up, it's because of the offer. It's because they're getting something out of it, right? So if you're promoting like 15% off, don't have a huge paragraph below it with a ton of information, because people will not read it. And again, it's really off-putting. So those are the biggest mistakes right here I see with brands, and make sure you actually avoid this when it comes to creating your pop-up. So yeah, with that being said, let's dive into the actual tutorial. So let's go to Klaviyo right here, go to sign up forms, obviously, as usual. Let me move my hair right here. And then here you can select, I actually recommend using pop-ups always. I don't really like full page things. I don't really like flyouts or anything like that. I just actually use pop-ups. So let me select, this one looks pretty cool. I'm gonna call it YouTube demo. And then select your email list, create form. Now, you can use, before I dive into the details, you can use a teaser or not. A teaser is this right here. So when someone closes the pop-up, they still have that sticky thing on the corners. We like to put it here, but it is really up to you. I'm gonna delete it for the sake of this video right here. So yeah, by the way, for this video, I'm not gonna dive into the design aspect of your pop-up because that's very personal. And to be honest, it's really easy and straightforward. I'm gonna dive into the dynamics and the right structure to use, as well as the different steps to use, because that's gonna be the most important thing by far. So first things first, keep the copy short and concise, and then ask for one thing per step. So in this, we have the email opt-in. I'm gonna add another step, which is gonna be the SMS opt-in right here. Put it here, right after the email opt-in. So of course, for the email opt-in, 15% off, etc. For the funds, again, you can customize this based on your funds. So you can upload the funds to your Klaviyo account, and then you can select those. And as I mentioned before, I would like to have another step where, so yeah, I actually reached the maximum steps. So if you're not collecting, because in this case, they are collecting zero-party data for this template. So they're asking for their preferences. One more question, are you more into stars or planets? So if you're not asking for this right here, so if you're not collecting zero-party data, which I actually highly recommend you do, you can have a first step where you, as I mentioned before, like these examples right here, where you could ask people if they want the code, right? So do you want 15% off your first order? Yes, I do, or no thanks. If they click yes, I do, then the next step is going to be the email opt-in right here. But for this specific scenario, I'm going to keep the zero-party data step right here because I like it, and I think this is extremely important as well. So first step, email opt-in. Second step is the SMS opt-in. For SMS, I highly recommend you have a different separate offer, which is actually more enticing than the actual email offer. So if you're offering 15% off for email, for mobile, you could have, for SMS, you could have 20% off, 25% off, or 15 plus another thing on top of it, right? Because telling people they are going to get exclusive access to offers and all of that, like product launches and all that, is not going to work as well, right? People don't really care, to be honest with you. So offer something that's actually better than the email opt-in step, okay? So that's that for the SMS. Again, I'm not going to dive into the actual design and all that. So that's the SMS. And then zero-party data. Let me call it zero-party data. Of course, it really depends on your brand. The reason why they have this is because that way you can have a customized profile property for every client that actually submits the info. So let's say you have, and this is something I already showed on the YouTube channel, is like, let's say you have a skincare brand and then you want to know what their biggest skin issue is right now. It could be acne, it could be fine lines, right? So you can ask that question, and then you can have those two options in there, and then you can tailor the welcome series based on that information and the abandonment check-in and all that. And this is extremely powerful. If you try to please everyone with the same copy and convert everyone with the same copy, very generic, broad copy, you're going to end up not converting anyone. Of course, it's not that dramatic, but when it comes to, for example, some industries, it's really important to know the exact details of why the customer is going to purchase from you, what the main problems are. That's kind of copywriting 101, is understanding your customers' pain points and motivations as well. So that's that. By the way, I'm going to link my zero-party data collection tutorial with Klaviyo around here. So feel free to check that out if you want to learn how to collect zero-party data with Klaviyo and the different pop-ups, okay? So that's that for the zero-party data collection. And then finally, and this is a huge mistake I see people make, is you want to have the actual discount code on your success page. I know a lot of like email marketers, whatever, they like to tell people to check out their inbox to get a discount code. The problem with this is that we're adding an extra step to the entire funnel, and it adds a lot of friction, right? I understand like some agencies have a performance-based incentive, right? And so that's why they want to attribute as much money as possible to the welcome series, for example. So they're telling people to go to the welcome series to get the discount code and all that. However, here we want to make sure we convert as many people as possible. We're as effective as possible for the brands we work with. So we actually give the discount code on the success page. So you can have discount code with whether it is a dynamic one or a unique code in here directly, okay? Now, that's that for the structure. Let's get into the triggers, which are probably one of the most important things to talk about here as well. So first things first, let's say this is a pop-up we are creating only for desktop, right? So here, what I want to do first is devices, display on desktop, right? And then here for the frequency, you want to reduce it. 90 days is quite a lot, so I would do like 7 days or 14 days as well. And then here, the actual triggers, really important. So click on based on rules here. Again, this is for desktop. I want you to do, for desktop, we primarily use this rule right here, the only one we use. So exit intent, when visitor is exiting the page. I highly recommend you use this one for desktop, and that's pretty much it, okay? And then for targeting, of course, don't show to existing Klaviyo profiles, and then you can, URLs, don't show on certain URLs. We actually exclude the cart, and then we also exclude the checkout as well. We don't want to show, of course, pop-ups on your checkout or cart, right? So that's it for desktop. Now let's say we want to create one for mobile. Again, you want to have one for desktop and then one for mobile, All right, these are the triggers and the targeting for mobile, for desktop, sorry. Now let's do mobile. So display on mobile here, frequency stays the same, and then timing based on rules. And then here we like to use a 8 to 12 seconds trigger, right? And then scroll percentage, 75 to 85, I would say. So let's do 65, sorry. Right here, this is pretty solid for mobile as well. Again, you can A/B test this and see which one works the best. So for example, you can have an A/B test where you test 8 seconds versus 12 seconds, or 2 seconds versus 8 seconds, right? That's gonna be a huge needle mover. And then targeting stays the same as well. So the biggest difference between desktop and mobile is, again, the triggers. So how you trigger the pop-up, and then that's pretty much it. And then of course the design and how you structure different blocks here. But again, let's go over the structure. So first step of the pop-up, it could be the asking for the email right away with the offer. And again, very clear, concise, very short copy. It could be this, or it could be something like this where you ask a question first. You get some commitment from the client, and then you can provide the option to provide the email to get a discount code, right? Second step is SMS opt-in if you're collecting SMS, very important. Third step, we have zero-party data collection, extremely, extremely important. Please do this. Just one question, could be 2 questions as well. But if you're doing 2 questions, please make sure it's on separate steps. Again, you don't want to ask for too much information in one same step. As I mentioned before, that's one of the biggest mistakes I highlighted previously. Okay, and then finally, the coupon code. Again, show it on the success page. You want to reduce the friction as much as possible. If they're ready to buy, then give them discount code right now so they can purchase from you, okay? Now, pillar number 4, craft a complete flow infrastructure. This is probably one of the most important parts right here. So, flows are money on autopilot. Having the proper flow infrastructure is going to help you make money 24/7 and tap into every stage of the entire customer journey. Very important here. If your pop-up is not converting at least 4% of your traffic on both mobile and desktop, fix that first, okay? So again, A/B test offers, then triggers, finally copy and design. That's why I covered pop-up before, because the pop-up is the backbone of your e-marketing strategy, and then you've got your flows, right? Now, what are the core flows that every brand actually needs? For 99.9% of all DTC e-commerce brands out there, the welcome flow, the welcome series, is going to be the most profitable and arguably the most important flow you can ever set up. So that's why in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what strategy to utilize to make sure your welcome series generates as much revenue as possible, converts as many subscribers into paying customers. So yeah, this is the ultimate welcome series for maximum profits, okay? With that being said, let me dive right into it. The truth about welcome flows. You see, most email marketers overhype the importance of a long, drawn out, like 10 emails long welcome flow. The reality is that the majority of conversions happen within the first 24 hours to 48 hours. Keep that in mind. So after day 1, customer intent weakens significantly. Okay? A nurturing approach with slow drip, storytelling, and testimonials doesn't really make a huge difference. All of this to say that basically the most important, and this is something I'm going to cover later, the most important email of your welcome flow is going to be the first one, because most people will convert within the first 24 hours, or they will probably churn and not become a customer ever again, okay? Or ever, pretty much, okay? As you can see, this is kind of what we see across the board with all of our clients or all the accounts we manage. And this screenshot, by the way, is from Adam Kitchen. So shout out to him on LinkedIn. But this is essentially what we see exactly on our end as well with all the accounts we manage, all the brands we work with. So after pretty much, day 1, day 0, you see all the conversions and then a huge drop off after. That's how it works. Again, most of the customers will convert within the first 24 hours, or they will not become a customer at the end, okay? Very important. So yeah, this means the first email matters more than anything else. If your welcome flow is not converting, the real issue is not your email strategy in most cases. It's your website messaging or front end offer, the one you promote, for example, on your sign up form, on your pop-up. So key takeaway here, your welcome flow should focus on capturing high intent buyers quickly before they bounce to Amazon or another competitor. So again, that first email, those two first emails are extremely, extremely important. Okay, so 3 high impact priorities for this flow right here. First one is, again, like instead of obsessing over the perfect welcome flow, focus on what actually moves needle. So that meaning optimize email number 1, really important. This email will generate most of your conversions. Test, A/B test the subject line, offer, and CTA relentlessly, really important. Test your pop-up. A high converting pop-up sign-up form directly impacts how many people enter your flow. So A/B test offers, messaging triggers, and eventually design and copy as well. And thirdly, really important is collect zero-party data. Gathering small insights at the sign-up level, so at your pop-up level, helps personalize emails and boost engagement. For example, asking what's your biggest struggle in the pop-up allows you to segment subscribers and tailor messaging. For example, here, this supplements brand, you've got 15% off on your first order. What scientifically proved benefit of creatine are you most interested in? And then you've got multiple options here. And then, of course, they will tailor the welcome series accordingly so that the copy and the messaging, the offer as well, potentially resonates more with my what I chose here, essentially, okay? So this is kind of the optimal welcome flow structure that we've tested across the board. But again, keeping in mind that that first email is the most important one by far. So email number 1, obviously, welcome plus incentive offer in the pop-up. So don't overcomplicate this first email. It's made to convey the discount code ASAP. So that's why I mentioned before, A/B test potentially small elements within that email, but mostly the offers as well. Okay, so quick example here. Welcome to the rest of your life. And then quick copy, get 10% off, etc., etc. Some USPs here. And then a guarantee, which of course will boost conversions quite a lot, okay? Second email is meet the team founders. You can talk about brand missions, value stories, and then also highlight your USPs, unique selling points, what makes your brand different, and what to expect from you with this in this newsletter as well. Another example here from Camly, a baby massager brand. And then, yeah, very simple. Third email, social proof email. So goal here is to get people over the line. So testimonials, success stories, PR awards, influence collaborations. If you collected zero-party data, which hopefully you did, you can set up conditional splits at this stage to further personalize, okay? Yeah, a testimonial compilation type email. Fourth, product information. You can showcase the best sellers. You can dive into the USPs again. But again, I really wanna focus on this first email. Again, this is by far the most important one. I really want you to focus on that first email because most customers will convert within the first, or prospects will convert within the first 24 hours, or else they will not convert at all. Okay. So yeah, fourth email, sorry. So what I said, email 5, last chance for incentive plus FAQs or objection handling. This is why a dynamic code is important. So this I did mention before, but we typically use dynamic codes at the welcome series level, right? So by dynamic, I mean unique code, because that way at the end, you can use some urgency. If your welcome code is like welcome 10 for 10% off, then people know it's not going to expire. So it doesn't make any, I mean, most people know it's not going to expire. So the urgency is not really there. However, if your code is welcome 5, 6, 7, GKL, whatever, then at that point, they know it's unique. Or you can trick them into using that code, but it is just a static code. So you can use a unique dynamic code, or you can use a static code that looks unique. Point is, make sure it looks unique, right? So that way you can use urgency here, for that fifth email. And then email 6 plus, if you want, you can dive into more brand product education, and you can also use high-performing campaigns you've sent in the past that work really well as an extra email in this flow right here. All right. Now, I want to dive into the common welcome flow mistakes I see all the time from all the audits I do every single week at other brands. of other brands I added. First one is smart sending is on. You see at the flow level, you can actually, let me show you an example real quick. So this is a flow, a welcome flow. If I click here and then I go down here, so here, skip recently email profiles. Sometimes some brands have these toggled, which means a lot of people will not receive this first email, which is again critical, right? So make sure this is not turned on in any of your emails, of your flows, essentially, really important. Second is double opt-in is on at the pop-up level. So this creates unnecessary friction and reduces sign-up. So this is when, for example, you sign up to a newsletter and then you receive an email confirmation. If you don't confirm your subscription, then you're not signed up. And then lots of brands actually have this on, and then I can guarantee it reduces your sign-up rates by like 50%, right? So how to turn it off? If it is on, go to your Klaviyo account here, and then go to your audience, list, and segments. Click on whatever list is connected to your pop-up. I don't know. This right here, whatever. And then go to settings, consent, and then here, in this case, this is an SMS list. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference, but yeah, in this case, it is activated. Double opt-in is on. So make sure you toggle single opt-in for the email list that's connected to your sign-up form, okay? Really, really important. And this is a huge mistake I see all the time. Third one is not having urgency. If there's no time-sensitive incentive, people delay the purchase. And that's why I mentioned before, it's kind of ideal to use a unique code, at least one that looks unique, so that you can use urgency there. Another one is not tagging people in the flow to exclude them from your campaigns. If they're going through the welcome flow, there's no point in sending them, in most cases, weekly campaigns, broadcast campaigns. So make sure you tag them when they enter the welcome series, and then that way you can create a segment around that, and then you can exclude them from your campaigns. Finally, lack of personalization is a big one as well. Failing to leverage zero-party data makes emails feel generic. So make sure you collect zero-party data and then you utilize the data that you actually collected. Zero-party data collection is overlooked by most DTC marketers, and it's a shame because being able to collect and leverage zero-party data really allows our clients and brands that actually think about it and collect zero-party data to create marketing materials and marketing strategies that actually resonate with your audience, right? And to be honest, I haven't really seen any good, solid masterclass and tutorial on how to collect and, most importantly, leverage zero-party data on YouTube. So that's why I decided to make this one right here. So today I'm going to share with you how to collect and leverage zero-party data to scale your email revenue and basically improve your email results dramatically. Okay, so zero-party data is one of the most powerful tools for personalization, segmentation, and higher conversions. But most brands don't collect it or use it correctly. To be honest, 90% of brands don't even collect it, right? Here's how to harness ZPD, so zero-party data, to maximize email revenue. And by the way, zero-party data is personal information that is willingly and deliberately shared by the customer. First, this is very different from the other types of data you can actually collect, right? So yeah, this is the agenda today. First, I'm going to talk about what's zero-party data. Second, why is it important? Third, what pieces of information you can actually collect. Fourth, how to collect them. And then how to use them profitably, all right? So what's zero-party data? Zero-party data is data that customers willingly share with you. Unlike first-party data, for example, behavior tracking, or third-party data, external sources, zero-party data comes directly from customers. So examples of zero-party data: quiz responses, survey answers, pop-up form selections, preference center inputs. And in this video right here, I'm gonna basically focus on the pop-ups, right? Since zero-party data is voluntarily shared, it is more accurate, of course, and valuable than tracked data. So some examples here at the pop-up level. You've got 20% cashback on your first order. What scientifically proven benefit of creating are you most interested in? And then when people select this, they get tagged, and then you can tailor the email strategy accordingly, right? Same with this example right here. We've got 20% off to claim your discount. Share with us your diet lifestyle. right? Multiple options. You've got 10% off. Tell us what's your goal, better hair, skin, nails, slimming down, etc., etc. You've got 15% off. To claim, tell us what more about what you struggle with. Getting to sleep, staying asleep, both. And then again, people get tagged with this when they select an option. And then let's say, for example, this is one of the most common use cases. You can tailor your welcome series accordingly. So you can create copy that resonates more with with what that actually selected here, chose here, right? The option they selected. Or, for example, the products you showed can be more tailored towards what their goal is, right? So very, very powerful, extremely important to collect. Now, why is zero-party data so important? Zero-party data enables hyper-personalization by revealing customer pain points, motivations, and preferences. With this data, you can craft emails and marketing strategies that truly resonate instead of sending generic blasts, generic emails, right? Which is like what most people do in this space. You see, email pop-up signups don't equal revenue. If you only track list growth without focusing on conversions, for example, the sign-up rate of your pop-up, you're missing the point. A massive list with a 0% conversion rate won't drive business results for your brand. Zero-party data helps boost conversions through smarter segmentation. You're not just collecting emails, you're collecting insights that help tailor marketing messages, whether it is on the paid ad side of things, CRO, and in this case, of course, email marketing. Even a 4% uplift in the welcome flow, for example, which is a pretty typical result where we implement zero-party data for most of our clients, conversions can add, in this case, for example, 48K in extra revenue per year for a 100K per month brand, right? And this is just for one flow. So imagine if you implement these types of strategies, segmentation and personalization across different marketing mediums, or for example, in this case, across different email flows. More signups don't matter, higher conversions do, right? Zero-party data helps turn subscribers into buyers, which is the most important thing. So when you have zero-party data, you can have multiple conditional splits based, again, on what the person selected at the pop-up level, for example, right? And then you can make sure the copy you use here on the emails and the products you show, for example, are more relevant to the basically what they chose on the pop-up, right? So what pieces of zero-party data should you collect as a brand? The best zero-party data questions are simple yet powerful. I mean, in our experience, these two work really well. What's your biggest goal right now? And the second one is what's most important to you when choosing our create team, for example, right? Why this works? Because that way you can have some personalized follow-ups. You can tailor email sequences based on responses, deeper segmentation, understand whether a customer values price, quality, sustainability, or other factors, really important. And then also more relevant product recommendations, so suggest read-write items based on customer priorities, what I mentioned before as well. So some examples here. A skincare brand might ask, what's your biggest skin concern? Acne, aging, dryness, for example. And then you can have, so on the welcome series, for instance, follow-up emails showcasing relevant products for those specific pain points, right? Or skin concerns. A supplements brand might ask, what's your main goal? Energy, immunity, sleep, building muscle, losing fat, whatever. So in this case, for example, when we have what the actual customer want as a end goal, what they wanna basically get from our products, then they'll receive like content plus product suggestions based on the response, and that actually I cannot tell you how important zero-party data is, because you want to make sure the emails you send are actually relevant to the pain point of your end prospect, right? That's how you improve your conversion rates. And not only about email marketing, but also this data, and that's something I'm going to share later, is this data you collect with zero-party data, you can utilize that with your acquisition team, with the paid ads team, right? You can utilize that for better landing pages, for better product pages, and even for product development. So I'm going to cover that later, but that's really, really important. So yeah, small tweaks to data collection can lead to big improvements in engagement and sales, because the copy you create is going to be way more relevant. All right. Now, how to collect zero-party data. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to go into a Klaviyo account and I'm going to walk you through how to do it properly. All right, cool. So let me share with you how to create this form pop-up so we can collect zero-party data. All right. So you go to sign up forms, obviously create form, and then let me choose, I don't know. Let me use this one right here. So I'm going to call it YouTube demo. 25. And then newsletter, create form. All right. So I'm going to get rid of the teaser. By the way, I really like this template. It does have the micro commitment before, which is basically asking if they want it first before asking for the email, which is really important. I'm going to get rid of the SMS for this specific example, right? So get 20%, $20 off your first order, claim, and then if they click on claim, they get taken here, right? Typically with zero-party data collection, you can either do it before asking for the email or once they've given us the email. Honestly, this is not black or white. Test it, see what works best for your specific brand. In this case, I'm going to do it once they've given us their email, right? So let's say this is a skincare brand, right? Of course, it doesn't look like a skincare brand, but who cares? And I'm not gonna dive into like the different design elements. I'm just gonna show you exactly how to collect zero-party data here. So, yeah, what's your biggest? So this is the step right after they're giving us their email, right? So what's your biggest? What's your biggest skincare concern? And I'm taking the example from the presentation, right? So let me get rid of this here. Get rid of this button. Well, not button, that text. Yeah, let me have some space here. And then for this specific button, I cannot help myself. I need to modify this. It looks really crappy. So okay, better. Let's say this submit form at property. So let me change the text here. So get treat, for example, dryness being one option, right? Dryness. And then I'm going to add a new property. So since we don't have it yet, I'm going to call it skin concern. And then call it dryness, right? So that way, if they click here, they basically get tagged with this profile property, which is skincare concern, dryness. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do with this at the welcome series level as well. I'm going to do just a couple of examples here. So let's add another button here, which I'm going to call it dryness, submit form. Since we haven't really used this property, then it doesn't show up here. But let's make sure we use the same property on both. So the same like profile property, right? In this case, it's going to be oily skin. Oily skin here. All right. And let's just make sure. Just for the sake of this video that we have the same like branding. Oily skin. What color is this? Just for this, because yeah, I need to make sure this looks the same. Otherwise, I might get crazy here. But yeah, oily skin. That's the height here of this, 57. Let's use 57 as well. So yeah, dryness, oily skin. So micro commitment step here, get $20 off your first order, claim $20 off, no thanks, email opt-in here, and then here we've got the different zero-party data collection options. Do as many as you want. Obviously, I wouldn't go honestly, I wouldn't go more than 2 to 3 questions. And also, I would actually use as fewer questions as possible per question, as fewer options, per question as possible. We don't want to overwhelm people with options. And we just want to make sure we actually collect the most relevant info so we can make sure like we tailor for example, in this case, I'm going to show you right now, we tailor the welcome series accordingly. All right. So let me show you how to basically utilize this info at the welcome series level. All right, so this is a dummy welcome series I just created. Let's say this is your welcome series. Obviously, you need to have a conditional split, right? Where we'll have a condition based on the profile property of the person going through this specific welcome series. Now, for this specific example, since no one is tagged with the new profile property we just created for the pop-up, then it's not going to show up. So make sure that before doing this, you basically add yourself in with the profile property, right? Skin concern in this case that we use. So you should go here, properties about someone, and then in this case, we actually use this one, right, at the pop-up level. But in this case, it's not popping up because there's no one tagged with this one. But let's say for the sake of this one, that's one, and then equals, and then dryness or oily skin, right? And then you can tailor the welcome series accordingly. Of course, most likely you have multiple options here based on how many questions you have, how many options you have as well. But this is how you actually collect zero-party data at the pop-up level, which is really, really powerful. And then how you can utilize it on your in-marketing strategy, right? All right, so let's dive into how to use zero-party data profitably. I just covered at the welcome series level, but there are other things you can definitely do with that data. Yeah, as I mentioned before, email marketing, flows and campaigns, the welcome series, like I just did. Personalized product recommendations, pain point benefits, benefits feature based on zero-party data. Objection handling, so address pain points uncovered through zero-party data. Advanced segmentation, of course, you can also create segments based on those profile properties, for example. So send tailored offers based on preferences. Another thing is your acquisition team, right? Paid ads and creatives. Use zero-party data insights to create stronger ad hooks. Really important. Highlight the right USPs, unique selling points. For example, perfect for busy moms versus perfect for athletes, right? Because again, zero-party data really allows you to understand your customers to the core and see very powerful commonalities between them. And then you can create marketing materials that resonate more with them, right? So address common pain points in ad copy as well. Example, if most customers choose long-lasting at the pop-up level, for example, as their priority, ad creatives should highlight durability, right? Third one, website and CRO, conversion rate optimization. So you can adjust product page copy to highlight customer priorities. You can improve other tutorials and landing pages by aligning messaging with collected zero-party data. Example, if customers value friendliness, emphasize sustainability messaging on product pages. Fourth, user experience and personalization. Reduce decision fatigue by guiding customers toward the best option. Offer customer product recommendations based on survey responses. Improve upsells and cross-sells by aligning with customer priorities. Example, if a customer selects hydration as their main skincare goal, recommend hydrating serum instead of a generic bestseller, for example, obviously, right? Just like the example I just showed you. Content strategy, social media, blog ads, SMS, etc. You can create more engaging social media copy and blog content based on what customers actually care about. Educate and nurture subscribers more efficiently using zero-party data-driven insights. Example, if many customers struggle with sensitive skin, write more content around gentle skincare routines, right? Finally, and this is extremely overlooked but so powerful, is product development. Align new product launches with customer preferences and market trends. Identify gaps in the product line based on common requests. Example, if enough customers indicate lack of fragrance-free options as a concern, you now have a data-backed reason to develop one. Really simple and really powerful as well, as I mentioned before. So final thoughts here. Zero-party data is a goldmine for e-commerce brands. When used correctly, it transforms email marketing and other marketing mediums, to be honest, from generic to highly personalized. Like personalized where it actually matters, right? So stop focusing on vanity metrics like signups, Start using zero-party data to increase conversions and drive more revenue, and leverage zero-party data across emails, ads, hero, and product strategy. So basically, just to recap here, collect data the right way, segment and personalize messaging, and use it across multiple marketing channels. If you're not using zero-party data, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I can guarantee you that. Next, we've got the site abandonment. So the goal here is to educate, make people aware of the brand, and drive people down the funnel. Length 3 to 5 emails. So content buckets to cover for this flow right here. Email number 1 could be you can showcase popular products. You can touch on unique benefits that could encourage your purchase, free shipping over X amount, all natural, less calories, etc. Email number 2, you can have some social proof focused emails or highlight unique USPs or company mission as well. All right, next we've got the product abandonment flow. So the goal here is to remind people of the products they visited, their unique selling points, and drive people down the funnel to check out and purchase. The length of these flows should be between 2 and 5 emails. And then some examples here. The mistakes to avoid: add the product tracking to my site is off on Klaviyo. Smart sending is on, not having urgency, not covering multiple unique selling points, and not tagging people in the flow to exclude them from your campaigns, from your broadcast campaigns. And these are pretty much some of the same mistakes we saw with the welcome series and other flows as well. The content buckets to utilize here: email number 1 is the use it as a reminder of the items they viewed. You just don't need to overcomplicate this first email. It should be pretty straightforward and serve as a simple reminder. Email number 2 is you can add some context and cover the unique selling points of your brand as a whole, not the products viewed specifically. So you can utilize social proof, testimonials, reviews, and press as well. And then you can also offer an incentive. It could be a discount or whatever it is. Email number 3, you can introduce the incentive if you didn't in the previous email, or add urgency to the offer if you had an incentive for the email number 2, okay? Next email, we've got the abandoned cart. You can remind cart items plus push the purchase. This is not the abandoned checkout flow. So these are 2 different flows, right? This is the abandoned cart, which is different. Length here is 3 to 6 emails. Email number 1 should have a reminder that they have items in the cart. You can mention benefits such as free shipping or for spending X dollars. Email number 2, items are seated in the cart. Same thing, very simple reminders. You can include product testimonials to nudge them in the right direction. Email number 3 can offer a discount to new customers, not returning. And you can offer you can have some social proof and then feature in section as well, kind of press. And then other product recommendations with a dynamic product block here. Next, we've got the abandoned checkout. So this is same as abandoned cart. You can also be a bit more aggressive because this is further down the funnel. Length for 6 emails. Next, we've got the abandoned checkout. So this is same as abandoned cart. You can also be a bit more aggressive because this is further down the funnel. Length for 6 emails. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the top 7 abandoned checkout mistakes that pretty much 80% of e-commerce brands are making at the moment. I'd say even more than that. As you may know, the abandoned checkout is probably the second highest income generating flow. And I've seen this across the board, across multiple Klaviyo accounts. So make sure it is extremely important that this one is optimized to the core. All right. That being said, let me dive right into it. So the abandoned checkout flow, as I mentioned before, is one of the most profitable automations in email marketing. For many, many brands, it's the second highest revenue generating flow. Sometimes, to be honest, even the first. And again, I've seen this across the board, multiple industries, niches, etc. Yet, most brands fail to optimize it properly. Here's how to fix the biggest mistakes and recover more lost revenue. First things first, the biggest mistake I see all the time is not excluding abandoned checkout subscribers or people going through that flow from other campaigns, from actual weekly campaigns, if you will. When someone enters the abandoned checkout flow, they are already deep in the buying process. But if they're also getting regular marketing campaigns, marketing emails, you risk confusing them with conflicting messages and offers and stuff like that, reducing urgency by flooding them with non-relevant content, and wasting email slots instead of focusing on conversions, because these people are already at the bottom of the funnel. They just need a quick nudge instead of like receiving a bunch of non-relevant campaigns, right? So what you need to do here is tag users when they enter the abandoned checkout flow and exclude them from campaigns. And of course, at the end, remove the tag once they complete the entire sequence. So when you create a checkout starter trigger, so essentially a abandoned checkout flow, you need to tag people going through it. That way you can create a segment based on people who are tagged with this specific tag right here, and then exclude them from your weekly campaigns. Really, really important. Second mistake is not being aggressive enough in the first 24 hours. You see, most abandoned checkout purchases happen within the first 24 to 48 hours for the most part. If you're not aggressive in this window, you're pretty much losing sales because most prospects will churn at that point in time, if that makes sense. So to fix this, send at least 2 emails in the first 24 hours. Optimize those emails to the maximum, like A/B test the crap out of it. Stronger subject lines, content, clear CTAs, urgency-driven messaging, etc., etc. Make sure you A/B test those first 2 emails, especially, of course, the first one. And then third, use SMS as a secondary touch point for immediate impact as well. If someone, as mentioned before, left checkout, they were seconds away from buying from you, from completing the purchase. Acting fast ensures they don't forget or buy elsewhere, essentially. Just life gets in the way, so it is extremely important to be aggressive within the first 24 hours. All right? Third one is not using SMS for faster conversions. Email is extremely effective, but SMS gets seen instantly. Yet most brands don't include text reminders in their abandoned checkout flow. So by doing the following, you can fix this mistake right here. First things first, for new customers, send 1 to 2 SMS messages in the first 24 hours to 48 hours. For returning customers, reduce SMS frequency or just don't send SMS at all. They already know your brand. So use SMS to reinforce urgency and scarcity as well. So again, for the most part, for our clients, for returning customers, we don't use SMS, but we do for new customers, like prospects, right? Really, really powerful. And again, I see many brands not taking advantage of SMS. For some of the brands we work with, SMS can be up to 10% of the entire retention marketing revenue. So really, really untapped revenue stream, if you will. Okay, fourth point here is, and this is a big one I see all the time, is offering discounts too soon. Most abandoned checkouts are not price related. I'm going to repeat that. Most abandoned checkouts are not price related. They happen because people get distracted. Offering a discount right away hurts your margins unnecessarily. So do the following. For the first 2 emails of your flow, just use them as reminders. Don't have any offers, no discounts whatsoever. For the third, fourth email, you can introduce an incentive, right? But don't do it for the first 2 emails. That's extremely important. It avoids giving away margin to customers who were already planning to buy from you at full price, okay? Next, not personalizing messaging for returning customers. If someone has already purchased from your brand, from you before, your abandoned checkout, your abandoned cart flow emails should acknowledge that. Really important. Sending a generic message makes them feel robotic and irrelevant. It really applies to all the other flows as well, but especially this one right here. So make sure you use a conditional logic to personalize emails based on past purchases. Address returning customers with messaging like, hey, thinking of restocking, we've got you covered, we've got your cart ready. You already know what the quality of your products are. Let's wrap this order up, right? Something like that, where you actually acknowledge the fact that you know they are customers already, right? This is really powerful. Returning customers don't need convincing, they just need a quick nudge, right? Now, sixth, offering discounts to returning customers instead of smarter alternatives. Repeat customers, as I mentioned before, usually are not price sensitive, right? Offering them a discount is often unnecessary and hurts profitability for most brands. So instead of a discount for those returning customers, you can offer a payment plan, right? A subscription options, or loyalty perks if they place the order. For example, earn double points when you complete this order. Why this works? Because it protects profit margins whilst it gives hesitant buyers a reason to convert. Right now, acquisition is harder than ever for most e-commerce brands. So we want to make sure we protect those margins as much as we can. So again, for returning customers, for the most part, don't use discounts. You can use, again, a payment plan, subscription options, or exclusive loyalty perks as well. Now, final point here, which is extremely important, is not, this is for brands doing over 200, 200K, 300K per month for the most part. If you're not doing those like revenue levels, then just don't bother. But seventh point is not splitting the flow based on cart value. A $20 order and a $200 order should not be treated the same. If you're sending identical abandoned checkout emails to all customers, you're leaving money on the table. For low value cart customers, discounts may not be needed for small orders. Instead, promote payment flexibility like buy now, pay later to remove hesitation. Now, for high value cart customers, since these customers are more valuable, offering a discount in email number 3, as I mentioned before, and beyond makes way more sense, right? Reinforce why your products are worth the investment before applying an incentive, okay? So why this works, treating high value cards differently ensures you maximize revenue while protecting margins on low ticket items. Content buckets for this flow right here, email number 1, should be a reminder. Pretty straightforward, simple works here. Always remember to use dynamic blocks. Email number 2, have some social proof, testimonials, PR, influencers, user-generated content, brand product selling points and benefits. Email number 3, you can potentially show payment programs, buy now, pay later, or offer discounts or whatever it is if new customers. Email number 4 should be used as an last chance for the incentive, plus FAQs or objection handling, okay? So first thing you need to do is go to obviously flows right here, then go to create flow, then you can type in abandoned cart. Now, there's an extremely important distinction to make right here. There's a difference between the abandoned checkout and abandoned cart flow. In the title of this video, I'm gonna use abandoned cart, but to be honest, this is actually the abandoned checkout flow. For whatever reason, Klaviyo calls the abandoned checkout the abandoned cart. And let me show you the difference between those two. So if I go to the Gymshark store, let's go to shop man. I want to shop this one right here. And then I click on add to bag or add to cart. I add it to cart and then I leave the website. That's going to be the abandoned cart flow coming into play. Okay. However, let's go back to the website. If I go to the if I added the product to cart, I check out, etc. I go here to the checkout process. I type in my email and then I click on continue to shipping. And then I leave the website. That's going to be the abandoned checkout. Here, we're going to create the ladder. So the abandoned checkout one. However, I'm going to be calling it the abandoned cart potentially. But keep in mind, it's two different flows that are extremely important. I'm actually going to create a video on how to create the abandoned cart flow in a future video, because they require different triggers. And the abandoned cart trigger doesn't come by default with the integration with Shopify and Klaviyo. So keep that in mind. This is going to be the abandoned checkout again, okay? That being said, I want you to select this one right here. You can select the abandoned cart. Actually, as you can see here, this one uses the added to cart trigger, which is different, okay? In this case, I want you to use this one right here, standard. Let me call it YouTube demo abandoned checkout, create flow. Now, once we're here, I'm gonna delete all these steps in a moment so we can just start from scratch right here and go over the entire process just like we do with our clients. And again, here we are creating a highly profitable abandoned checkout structure that you can replicate for your brand. Okay, that being said, so here we have this trigger. Now let's add the emails. First mistake I see brands make is having a very short abandoned checkout. For the abandoned checkout, you want to make sure this is at least 4 emails long. So let's add 4 emails in there. Email 3, email 3, email 4. Now let's add the time delays. Another mistake I see is waiting too long. For the first email, you want to wait, I'd say like 30 minutes to 1 hour tops. So let's do 1 hour. Then between the first email and the second one, you want to be pretty aggressive. Again, if people don't purchase within the first like 48 hours, there's a huge decline in the chance of them purchasing essentially. So you want to wait 1 day here. And then for the third email, you want to wait, I would say between 1 day or 2 days. 2 days is fine as well here. Let's do 2 days. And then between email 3 and email 4, let's do 2 days as well again. Okay. Now, another very important thing to add to this flow right here, which I don't see, to be honest, any brand doing. I added multiple Klaviyo accounts every week, and I would say like maybe 5% of the brands actually do it, is tagging people who are going through the flow in order to exclude them from your campaigns. Why? Because here they're already very, very far on the funnel. And we just want to make sure they go to the actual flow instead of like sending them educational nurturing campaigns, right? So how do we do that? So we actually use this block right here, action, add step, create new property. You can call it in a flow. Oh, sorry, create new property in a flow. And then a Boolean and then true. And then at the end of the flow, you want to exclude them, obviously. So you click on here, you add the new block, you click on update existing property, you select your property, and then you put like false instead of like true, and that's it. Of course, we haven't created it. There's no one has gone through this property right here, so we cannot select it, but you get the point, okay? Make sure you do this and make sure you actually create a segment with people with this property and you exclude them from your campaigns. Again, really important. And if you have an abandoned checkout right now running, and you haven't done this, then please do it right now, okay? That's that for this structure. Looking great so far. Now, another thing we wanna do here is have a conditional split between people who purchase already from you, so returning customers, and people who haven't purchased from you ever. Why? Because for people who already purchased from you, we don't wanna give them any discount. Why? Because they already tried your products and they're returning to your website to purchase again because they loved it. Otherwise, they will return to your website, right? So we don't want to give them any margin. Okay, really important. Instead of like promoting or offering a discount to returning customers, you can promote your subscription plan, for example. Or if you have a payment plan as well, you can actually promote that as well. Okay. So let's do it right now. Let's use a conditional split right here. What someone has done or not done. So if they have placed an order at least once overall time, save. If it is yes, then they are a returning customer. If it is no, then they are not. Okay, let me pause the video so I can fill out this column right here, this section of this sequence. Here we have the conditional split for people who already purchased from you. If they have, then of course this is a returning customer, and here we don't want to give them any discounts whatsoever. If they are a new customer, so they have not placed an order ever, we want to give them a discount on the third or fourth email. Moving on, we've got the post-purchase sequence, which is one of the most important ones by far. The goal here is to reduce buyer's remorse, build hype, increase product enjoyment, upsell, cross-sell, and convert first-time purchasers into repeat purchasers. Length, 4 to 12 plus emails, to be honest. The content buckets. We actually separate the thank you flow into two different flows technically. First one is with the trigger place order. So email number 1 is the thank you purchase, thank you for your purchase, plus send people to your social channels. Wait 30 minutes to 1 hour. And then we've got the email number 2, which is an immediate upsell, cross-sell with great offer, with urgency. So this is to increase LTV. And then once the order has been fulfilled, we've got email number 1. And this is where we showcase success stories and what makes our products or your products better than others in the market. Goal here is to reduce buyer's remorse. Email number 2, you can provide a product education for maximum enjoyment and or for product care. This is going to help your customers get the best results with your product, which equals less returns and happy customers. Email number 3, cross-sell upsell with relevant products. You can use urgency here, and this is going to increase LTV. Email number 4, last chance for that upsell cross-sell offer, increase LTV as the goal. Email number 5 is to collect reviews. unique user-generated content, you can offer an incentive to further accelerate social proof collection as well here, right? So I don't know, record a video. We're going to give you 20% on your next order, for example, right? Email number 6, we've got send people to other channels. That could be Instagram, TikTok, Facebook groups, etc. And this is to stay omnipresent. Sorry, in case they churn, which they eventually will. Everybody churns at some point. So keep that in mind. Bonus, email number 7, you can choose your referral system. Email number 8, you can collect qualitative data for better marketing decisions and product development. So this is where you can have surveys and stuff like that, which are extremely powerful and helpful for product development and other marketing mediums. For example, CRO, right? This is where you can definitely collect very precious information about your customers. Trust me. So make sure you have a survey email inside your thank you flow. Okay. Now, next we've got the VIP flow. So the goal with this flow is to increase LTV and brand ambassadors. These are your most valuable customers, so treat them well. Length is to 35 emails. And then the content buckets to cover. Email number 1 is you gotta let them know they're special, they're VIP. I'll lay out the VIP perks and then potentially show them a larger discount they can get if they purchase, etc. because they're a VIP. Email number 2, offer a reminder if you show them a discount here, and then you can also have a popular products here as well. They should have, of course, some perks for being a VIP, so make sure to lay those in there. Let them know that these VIPs exist because these perks exist because they're a VIP. Very important. Next, we've got the good old customer winback. So the goal here is to recover lost customers, increase LTV. Length, 37 emails around that mark. Content buckets, email number 1, a soft notch check-in just to put us back on the radar. Let the customers know you noticed they left. If you have relevant updates such as new products, this is your chance to showcase them. Can offer discounts right off the bat to win them back. Email number 2, reminder of the incentive. You have an incentive here from the first email. This email typically has more urgency, so include different products that you included in email number 1. So if email number 1 was bestsellers, this email can show new releases, right? Include strong social proof as well. And then email number 3, you can utilize some urgency and can include unique quality benefits, unique selling points as well for this one. The product replenishment flow is one of the most important flows, especially for consumable product brands or CPG brands as well. And the problem is that most brands don't really know how to set it up correctly or don't really know what content to utilize to make sure that it generates as much revenue as possible. So in today's video, I'm going to cover how to create profitable product replenishment flow. So just so you know exactly what content to use and what strategies to utilize as well. So with that being said, let me dive right into it. First things first, who is this flow for? So this flow is perfect for brands selling consumables or products designed for repeat purchases. Examples, as I mentioned before, CPG brands, cosmetics, supplements, and snacks, products with predictable use cycles, coffee, skincare, or cleaning supplies, subscription eligible items, products where converting to a subscription makes logical sense. For example, protein powder or vitamins as well. If your products have a high likelihood of being repurchased, a replenishment flow can be one of your most profitable automations, one of your most profitable flows. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Now, why is this flow so important? Product replenishment flows drive automated revenue by targeting existing customers. These customers are easier to convert than new ones, obviously, right? As they've already experienced the benefits of your product, your services. This flow, basically, it does 3 main things. First one, it boosts repeat sales, repeat purchase rates as well. Obviously, keeps your product top of mind before it runs out. Second, it leverages predictable timing as well. So triggers emails when customers are likely ready to reorder, which is extremely important. And thirdly, it improves efficiency. A well-timed replenishment email can turn one-time buyers into loyal repeat customers, which is one of the main strategies when it comes to email marketing in general, right? So yeah, that out of the way, let's create an effective product replenishment flow. So first things first, the triggers and filters. Focus on replenishable SKUs, as I mentioned before, only include products suitable for repeat purchases. Avoid irrelevant items like furniture or one-off purchases, for example, right? Set proper triggers. So base time on the average usage cycle of each product. For example, if customers typically use up a product in 30 days, the flow should start around day 25, day 26, or day 27. You can also use the Klaviyo's predictive analytics, which is extremely powerful and really helpful. So let's say this is your Klaviyo account. You're setting up your flow here. I actually set it up manually, right? So on your trigger, you go to all triggers, date property, and then you click on expected date of next order. And then here, it could be like 3 days before the actual value here. And then when should this flow repeat? Monthly. And then here it depends, of course, it's really up to you, but you can select a time of day. So it triggers, and then you just click on next here. So I do 2 days, click on next, and the trigger is already set up. Very extremely powerful. And then that's how you can set up basically the flow with proper timing. Okay. So yeah, make sure that of course you send over the email before people run out of their product, right? Like between 3 and 5 days before people actually use the entire product itself, right? Example, a skincare brand sends a replenishment reminder email 28 days after a moisturizer purchase, reminding the customer to reorder before it runs out, okay? Now, another very important point is time, as I mentioned before. Analyze the data. So different products have different usage windows. Use historical purchase data to identify the ideal timing, or again, Klaviyo's predictive analytics as well. Build up gradually. Don't wait until the product is completely used up. Send reminders early to prepare the customer for a repeat purchase. Avoid overcomplication. Group similar SKUs to simplify flow setup. Focus on high repurchase products. So 80-20 rule, essentially. Tip, avoid creating separate flows for every SKU. This is gonna become a nightmare if you do. Instead, group products with similar usage cycles into one flow, pretty much, okay? Now, content to include in your flow. This is one of the most, I would say, the most important part of this entire video right here. First things first, make sure you use dynamic product blocks. So highlight items from the customer's last order to make it easier for them to reorder. Second, use urgency and scarcity. Use real stock levels to create urgency. Only 3 left in stock, for example. Order now. Follow-up reminders. So this is really important as well. Send a sequence of emails to ensure the customer doesn't forget. So this is a example sequence here. Day 25, running low, restock your favorites now. Day 30, time to replenish, don't let your supplies run out. Day 35, last chance to reorder before you run out, essentially. So a couple of examples here. Need to restock. Hey, Nicholas, we thought it might be the time to restock your Noto. We wanted to make it easy to maintain your Noto glow, right? Shop now. This is a skincare brand here. Another example I've got here. Don't start sorting again. We're just checking in to make sure you don't run out of your Duradry. And then, yeah, they have a dynamic blog here, and that's pretty much it. Very straightforward, very personalized as well. And the timing is one of the most important things, as I mentioned before, as well. Next, we've got the sunset unengaged. So the goal is to get rid of the unengaged, clean your email list, and reduce color and improve deliverability. Length, 1 to 2 emails, right? And then finally, I think this is the last flow we've got here in this video, which is the review request, really important. The goal is to collect reviews, UGC for social proof, length, 1 to 3 emails as well. And then final one, birthday flow. This is optional. This is kind of secondary, to be honest. The goal here is to increase LTV through personalized offers. Length, 1 to 3 emails. The pillar number 5 for great email marketing in this 2025 is having a balanced email calendar as well. Consistency is crucial, but so is variety and strategy. Although sales and discounts are important, too many promotional emails can get your audience used to buying from you only when you have promotions, offers, discounts. Plus, you also want your brand to be seen as an expert in your industry, in your field. Educational content, product tips, user-generated stories, and blog updates provide value beyond the sale, keeping your audience engaged over the long term. Customer research plays a key role here. right? As knowing your audience ensures your content stays relevant and meaningful. That's why, again, collecting zero-party data or through surveys or whatever it is so important. All right, so today I'm going to share with you 50 value-based and educational email ideas for your next campaign. These ideas are purely just value-driven and not really sales-focused. Reason why is because, in my experience, like around 80% of the content you send should be purely value-driven, value-based, and educational, right? So from this video, you're going to get a ton of inspiration for your next campaign. So buckle up because, yeah, you get a lot of ideas here. So let's dive into it. The first email idea that we actually use a lot at the agency with clients is the one benefit feature. So showcase a single product benefit and its real life impact. That way, the end customer can visualize themselves using the product and what the benefit could impact their lives, essentially, right? So really powerful idea here. The second one is the one feature highlight. So focus on a specific product feature, for example, an ingredient and its uniqueness, and then you can tie it back to the product itself, and then just educate people on that specific feature right there. FAQ email, so address common customer questions with detailed answers that you can cover. You can basically do some objection handling, that things that might be preventing people from purchasing from you, right? So very powerful email as well. Fourth, what's inside? Give an in-depth look at the product content or packaging. And this gives, again, people a chance to visualize themselves using the product, how it looks, how it feels, etc., etc. Very cool product, especially if the packaging experience of your product is really good, right? Fifth, how it's made. So share the story of your product's creation, from materials to craftsmanship. So especially if your brand like works with different communities, or like they basically work with other communities in different parts of the world, essentially, to produce the product, then it's even better. For example, we have a client at the agency that they basically source the materials from New Zealand, they produce the actual products in Portugal, and they sell pretty much in Europe in general. If that's the case for you as well, or something similar, then this idea right here, it's very, very powerful, the how it's made idea here, okay? Sixth, how to use, so provide a step-by-step guides for maximizing product utility. This could be for customers already, or for prospects as well, because it's always interesting to see exactly what the how it looks to use kind of a guide on how to use the actual product that you want. It actually nudges people to buy most of the time as well. So it's a very powerful email idea. Back in stock alert, inform customers when popular items return. Very straightforward. 8, trending products. So highlight items currently loved by customers or featured online. So kind of a social proof type thing, or basically highlight the best sellers for your brand at the moment. Really powerful. 9th, blog spotlight. Promote valuable blog content relevant to your audience. 10th, research study highlights. So share data or studies that reinforce your brand values or product benefits. So this is for more of that those scientific brands where their products have a very, very specific pain point they solve through scientific methods, or a very scientific, could be an ingredient, could be a unique mechanism, whatever it is. Having a study to back it up always works really well. 11th, holiday celebrations. Send a thoughtful email celebrating seasonal holiday or occasion. Very powerful. 12th, progress update. Keep your audience informed about product launches, projects, or initiatives, especially for VIPs. This works really well, but it could be for your entire audience as well. 13th, customer transformation story. So feature a customer's success journey with your product. So pretty much a testimonial, an in-depth testimonial. 14th, before and after. So use visuals or testimonials to illustrate transformations. So for example, for skincare brands, this is very, very common because it's social proof. It works really well. 15th, puzzles and riddles. Add a fun challenge or brain teaser to engage readers. Very fun one. Note from the founder. Share your personal thoughts, insights, or brand milestones. This is usually done through a text-based email, and this works really well. 17th, gift guide. Provide a curated product suggestions for special occasions or audiences. For example, for Christmas, this is an angle we use a lot, and it works really, really well. Okay. 18th, treat yourself. So encourage customers to focus on self-care with thoughtful messaging. 19th, media mention. So highlight recent press coverage or awards. So for example, as seen in those types of emails. This is again social proof, and this works really well. You can actually have an email just covering this, or it could be just a section of one email you create as well. 20th, behind the scenes. So offer an exclusive look at your team, workspace, or production. This is to give transparency to people, and it's always really cool when you can see the faces behind a specific brand you actually love. So this is very, very good. 21st here, tips and tricks, provide advice that complements your products or industry. Very straightforward. UGC showcase, so 22nd UGC, showcase photos, videos, or reviews from real customers. This is social proof, but more of a visual type of social proof, very personal, very, very good. 23rd, sneak peek, so offer a preview of an upcoming product or collection. Very straightforward. 24th, flashback Friday, throwback Thursday, so reflect on a past product, event, or milestone. Again, this is to give people kind of a sense of being part of the community and just for them to see the progress. And this works really, really well to connect with the audience better. 25th, staff picks, so share a product recommendations from your team, including why they love them. Really good, really fun one as well. 26th, inspirational quotes, so share motivational brand line quotes to uplift your audience. Very straightforward as well. 27, customer spotlight, so feature individual customers and their unique stories. Again, this is more of a social proof type angle, but this is more in depth, right? You're actually giving out the name, the photo of the person, and just giving an in-depth kind of a backstory of that person, and how your products, your solution, help them. Okay. 28th, myths and facts versus facts. Bust common myths related to your industry or products, a myth buster one, really good. 29th, product care tips. Teach customers how to maintain and care for their purchases, especially for, again, customers, but even for like prospects, this works really well. 30th, fun facts. Share interesting or surprising trivia about your products or industry. Very, very cool, especially if you have a very kind of engaged audience that really care about your industry. It could be, for example, like health, nutrition, hydration, etc. This is really cool to create. Okay. 31st, sustainability efforts. So update customers on your eco-friendly practices or initiatives. Same thing, really cool. 32nd, did you know? Educate your audience with surprising facts or insights. This is kind of similar to this one, fun facts, but this is more on kind of more of an educational approach here. This is more of a fun type angle. This is more educational, if you will. 33rd, provide seasonal preparation. Provide tips to prepare for upcoming seasons, wardrobe transitions like winter, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so moving on. Let me go to the next page here, like so. So moving on, we've got 34th, community highlights. So showcase stories or initiatives from your local or global community. 35th, interactive polls or quizzes. Engage customers with simple questions or quizzes. And again, this is more of a engaging angle. Most brands, like 90%, 95% of brands don't do that ever. So having engaging kind of interactive emails. So if you can do that, for example, through these types of angles, it works really well. Okay. 36th, upcoming events. So share information about events your brand is hosting or attending. 37th, cost-driven updates. Highlight charitable initiatives or partnerships. 38th, favorite recipes or activities. Share ideas that align with your audience's lifestyle. And this could be from like team members as well of your brand. Really cool. 39th, day in the life features. So provide a glimpse into the lives of team members or ambassadors of your brand. 40th, customer reviews and testimonials. So this is your typical kind of social proof email. So highlights honest reviews from satisfied customers. Sometimes, for example, you can highlight a negative review and then just turn it into something witty. And that works really well. It's pretty cool. 41st, seasonal inspirations. So curate themes or ideas that align with current trends or holidays. 42nd, product innovations. Explain updates or new features for existing products. 43rd, survey results, share insights and findings from customer surveys. Photo or video contest announcements, showcase entries or winners from customer-generated content. 45th, cultural connection, share how your brand ties into culture, events, or practices. This is really cool, especially if your brand, again, is very community, kind of cultural based. Really, really cool. 46, personalized stories, so write emails based on a specific customer persona or interest. 47th, interactive challenges, invite customers to participate in fun activities or challenges. IG styling contest, or could be whatever, honestly, depends on your brand as well. 48, seasonal styling tips, offer advice on how to incorporate your products into current seasonal trends as well. 49th, storytelling emails, so share an engaging brand or team related story. And then final one, customer focused questions, so ask for opinions, such as what products they want to see next. This could be for your entire audience. This could be for only customers, VIPs, whatever it is. Pillar number 6 is maintaining an optimal campaign cadence, right? So a consistent cadence of 3 or 4 emails per week keeps your brand top of mind, increasing open and click-through rates. However, more than 6 emails a week can overwhelm subscribers and lead to unsubscribes in most cases. Sending too few emails can result in missed revenue opportunities, while sending too many can lead to unsubscribe or email fatigue. Very important points here. Have create skimmable content. Short, focused emails with single topics are way more effective than lengthy ones. Concise, easy to read messages improve retention and reduce unsubscribe rates. Content variety. As mentioned in the previous slides, a structured email calendar helps maintain consistency and ensures a good mix of content, with each email serving a strategic purpose in the sales funnel while avoiding self-fatigue, right? This positions your brand as both a product provider and an industry resource. Proven success. Research shows that frequent, well-timed emails result in higher sales and greater customer loyalty. Regular touch points ensure your brand stays relevant and stands out in crowded inboxes in crowded industries, for example, right? Finally, community engagement. Emails that build a sense of community foster stronger customer connections, encouraging engagement and repeat purchases. So all this to say is that having great content on a consistent basis, 3 or 4 emails a week, should be the backbone of your email broadcast campaign strategy. So make sure you have your cadence dialed in, make sure you have the resources to basically produce emails on a consistent basis, right? And if you don't, feel free to book a time that works for you with me. We can go over your Klaviyo account and we can put together a specific plan for your brand. We would love to help you. We've been in marketing for over 4 years and we've generated over $20 billion in new revenue. So we'd be more than happy to help you out with this right here. Okay. All right. So today I want to answer the question that I probably get asked the most, which is how many email campaigns should I send per month? And this is going to be a definitive guide. It's not black or white. So today I'm going to cover all the different points you need to keep in mind in order to define a specific frequency for your email campaigns inside your Klaviyo account or whatever ESP you're using. So first things first, I want to cover what the truth is about email frequency. You see the question, how many emails should I send per month or per week or whatever it is, doesn't really have a one size fits all answer. The reality is that email frequency depends on a variety of factors. For example, audience, product, time of the year, and your goals as well. What works in one quarter might not work in another quarter, which is extremely important to keep in mind. For example, in Q4, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday season, more frequent emails may perform well because, of course, your competitors are sending more emails. People are getting flooded with emails all the time. So it is extremely important to stay top of mind. That's why a higher frequency during Q4 might be more optimal, right? In quieter periods like Q1, like right now, for example, a more balanced approach might be optimal, might be necessary. So the key takeaway here is that instead of searching for the perfect frequency, focus on retention metrics and customer behavior to guide your approach. I'm going to cover practical recommendations later on this video, so please stick with me here. Okay, next point is why testing is not enough. Holdout tests are often suggested to determine the optimum frequency. For instance, one group receives 3 emails a week and the other one gets 1. At the end of the test, in most cases, you might see no uplift in revenue for the higher frequency, right? Does that mean you should stick to 1 email per week forever? No. Your audience, product lineup, and even the seasonality, as I mentioned before, of your business will evolve. What works now might not work in the future. And that's another concept which is really important. So the key takeaway here is email frequency is dynamic. Reassess your email frequency regularly to align with your business and audience needs. Now, next point is, these are the questions you must answer in order to guide your email strategy, email frequency strategy, right? Of course, frequency is one of the most important aspects of email marketing and having consistency as well, okay? So instead of fixating on frequency, ask yourself these critical questions here. Does this add to the customer experience? Emails should provide value, whether educational, promotional, or entertaining. If an email feels forced or irrelevant, don't send it unless absolutely necessary for short-term revenue or uplift in revenue, okay? Is your active customer base growing? If your net active subscribers are increasing month over month, it is a sign that your audience is engaged, which is great. Gradually increasing email frequency in this scenario is unlikely to hurt your performance, so that's a good sign, right? Are you over emailing to cover business gaps? And that's a huge one I see, especially for 7 and 8 figure e-commerce brands. If you're relying on intensive campaigns to compensate for poor product quality or customer experience, it is a huge red flag. Focus on fixing those foundational issues for long-term success. So the key takeaway here is emails should enhance the customer journey, not compensate for deficiencies in your business. It should enhance it. It should make your business better and just scale what already works. Just promote something that actually works, which is your product. So the backbone of any successful e-commerce brand we work with is having a great solution, a great product. If you don't have it ready, then focus on that first, right? Instead of using emails, just a high frequency to cover those business gaps, okay? Now, next point is the post-purchase optimization. You see, most brands over-rely on email campaigns because their post-purchase experience is very poor, it is lacking. By improving automation in customer journeys, you can reduce the need for constant selling. So some practical tips here: build smart automations for post-purchase flows to guide customers from their first to second purchase and increase LTV. Focus on customer retention rather than squeezing revenue from campaigns. That means basically focusing on higher level metrics or macro metrics, LTV, repeat purchase rate, etc., instead of focusing on very micro level campaign metrics such as revenue, etc., etc. So the key takeaway here is a better post-purchase experience reduces dependency on high frequency email campaigns. And so one of the most important flows by far is the post-purchase flow, right? The thank you flow. You must basically if you haven't checked out my video on how to build a proper thank you flow, please feel free to do so. But essentially, you must cover different points in order to make the post-purchase experience as optimal as possible. And as I mentioned before here, instead of relying on a higher frequency, make sure your post-purchase sequence is completely dialed in. Okay. Now, finally, some practical recommendations for email frequency. If you're unsure where to start, here's a step-by-step approach. Start with 1 campaign per week and monitor key metrics: open rates, click rates, conversions, unsubscribes, and spam reports. If metrics look healthy, increase to 2 campaigns per week and reassess. Gradually increase to 3 to 4 campaigns a week as long as engagement and health metrics remain stable. Really important. Also, take a look at the previous points I just covered in there to make sure your business foundations are there as well. So content balance, really important. Around, of course, it depends on every single brand, but around 80% of your content should be valuable content. Focus on educational or entertaining emails that resonate with the audience, and the rest can be more promotional. So the 20% can use you can use sparingly to keep your audience engaged without overwhelming them with sales pitches. Okay. Now on to general guidance for most brands. Last point here is and this is kind of a higher level, like general guidelines here, is for most e-commerce brands, sending 2 to 4 campaigns per week strikes the right balance. That's my experience with working with over 50 e-commerce brands at this point. It's frequent enough to maintain visibility, but not so aggressive that it risks knowing your audience. So the key takeaway, monitor your metrics, but stay flexible and focus on providing value in pretty much every single email you send, okay? And again, take a look at some retention metrics. You can use an app like Lifetime, for example, to take a look at lifetime value cohorts, repeat purchase rate, etc., etc., etc. Email segmentation is one of those topics that many marketers and brands like to talk about, right? But not many marketers, and again, brands, know how to actually implement the correct strategies in order to improve sender reputation and just scale their email revenue. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering and doing a complete email segmentation masterclass where I'm going to be covering the key segmentation strategies to scale email revenue. So with that being said, let me dive right into it. First things first, why is segmentation crucial? You see, having segmentation allows you to have more relevant content and offers, which equals more money. Having different buckets of people will help you create copy that just resonates more with them, as well as promote offers and overall promote things more efficiently, because you can speak to the customer way more efficiently overall and just resonate with them way more, okay? Secondly, because by having great segmentation, it will help you improve your deliverability. You see, by segmenting secondary deliverability metrics such as open rates and click rates will dramatically improve, which results in improving your sender reputation, which results in landing in the primary inbox folder way more often. Thirdly, because by segmenting, you'll be able to save money with your ESP. So Klaviyo, OmniSend, SendLine, whatever you're using, because you can clean your email list and get rid of people who are not engaged anymore and will not engage with your content anymore, like ever again, essentially, right? So there's no point in having them in your email list anymore. Now let's dive onto what segments to use and what content to send for each specific segment, which is basically the bread and butter of this video right here. First things first is gonna be the core and just overall the good old engaged segment, which is the main one. And to be honest with you, like 90% of the content you send should be sent to this specific segment right here, which is engaged. Could be like 15 days, 30 days, 60, 120, 180, whatever it is. Depends on your, of course, kind of deliverability state at the moment. But this is going to be the bread and butter of your segmentation, right? So the goal with this segment right here is to get them over the line, get them to purchase from you. So as I mentioned before, 80 to 90% of the emails you send should go to this segment right here. You want to segment people, but at the same time, maximize resources and efficiency. The engaged audience is the bread and butter of your email account, so make sure the content you create is tailored to them, at least at some extent, right? Sending to the entire email list should only be done when running really big promotions and promos, like for example, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., right? So the definition for the engaged segment is as follows: open email at least once in the last X days, or click email at least once in the last X days, or active on site at least once in the last X days, or place an order at least once in the last X days, and people can receive email marketing. So that's going to be the conditions for this segment right here. Okay. Now, essentially for the content buckets and what content buckets utilize for this specific segment right here. First things first, we've got the product focus email, so product highlights, benefits, ingredient zooming, for example, for skincare, bestsellers, or secondly, the second like big bucket is social proof focus. So you could utilize UGC, feature in type blocks, if you will, reviews, testimonials, and company information. And thirdly, we've got the sales and promos, obviously, right? So here we've got some examples from Seed, from Magic Mind, and also from Deepology. Second, very important, extremely important segment is the VIP segment. So here the goal is to increase lifetime value further, and turn them into brand ambassadors. These are by far your most valuable customers, so you need to treat them well. Before I dive into definition, please note that the definition, it really depends on your brand, right? I mean, every brand is different. For some brands, spending more than $500 is a VIP. For some brands, spending over $2,000 is a VIP. So that's something you must define for your brand yourself, right? But for the sake of this example right here, this is a VIP segment we created for a client, which is essentially this person has placed an order, at least 2 orders overall time, and can receive email marketing. So very simple and straightforward VIP segment. We've got another one here, which is essentially if this person has spent more than $500, right? So definition, predictive analysis about someone, historic customer lifetime value is at least 500, and they have placed at least 3 orders in the last 180 days. So that's another condition we use, and they can receive email marketing. So that's another condition you can definitely utilize. But again, it really depends on your brand itself. So the content buckets here are the following. So UGC requests, so requesting a UGC piece of content, could be a video, for example. Secondly, we've got a referring your friend, special perks. Third, early access to something like, for example, Black Friday. 5th, loyalty program could be as well. And 6th, surveys. So here's some examples. VIP access here. Here we've got VIP access again, and here we've got a UGC request type email here, right? So record, share, and get rewarded, etc., etc., etc. So you get the point for this specific segment right here, which again, it's extremely valuable, and you'll get a lot of money from this right here as well. Thirdly, of course, the purchasers, so people who are customers from you already, not necessarily VIPs, but purchasers from you, right? So the goal here is to get them over, to get them to become VIPs, right? And the definition is, of course, extremely straightforward. Place order at least once overall time, right? And the content buckets are as follow. So we can cross-sell, upsell them. You can like send them more social proof for them to purchase again from you. Exclusive promos. You can, for example, if you're selling, I don't know, like supplements, and they purchase a one-time thing, you could, for example, push a subscription of that specific product, which works extremely well. And then 5th, of course, we've got educational content to, again, make them purchase again and potentially become a VIP if they basically meet the conditions for your brand. 4th, we've got the winback audience. So this is people who purchase from you but haven't purchased from you in a while. But yeah, so these people already purchased from you but stop engaging with your content and buying it from you for some reason. The familiarity is still there, and you should capitalize on it, right? So life gets in the way, so it's your job to re-engage them and nudge them to place a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, etc. order. So content buckets here, you can give something for free, a special offer, you can offer customer support, you can remind them why they purchased in the first place, or you can evoke a reaction with a specific piece of content on your emails. Like, for example, here 2 examples, knife aid, 5 knife hacks in 5 minutes. And you basically go over the hacks for a product that they purchase. And here how to properly use the emergency fire blanket. Again, just going over how to properly use a specific product that you actually purchased already from you. Next, we've got the unengaged audience here. This segment is slightly different than the previous ones. Here, we want to identify people who are not engaged, and as mentioned before, will most likely never engage with your content ever again. So no point in having them in your email list. You want to get rid of them, clean your email list, and reduce your ESP bill. That actually can pile up rather quickly. For example, Klaviyo is quite expensive if you get a bunch of people there. So just basically get rid of people who are not engaged anymore with your content, okay? Email cleaning is an aspect of email marketing that most brands, agencies, freelancers overlook, but it is extremely important if you want to maintain good deliverability and also, again, save money. So this is the unengaged segment. What someone has done or not done. Received email is at least 10 overall time, and open email is 0 in the last 180 days, and click 0 emails in the last 180 days, and can receive email marketing. So these are the conditions for the unengaged audience. You want to essentially upload these into your like suppressed profiles. That way you suppress these people from your brand, from your email list essentially. So the content buckets here are pretty straightforward, and you want to send them like one email, and that's pretty much it. So you want to send them a great offer, potentially a last chance type angle as well. And to be honest, again, content is not that important. To be honest, most people will not, if they haven't engaged in like 6 months, they will probably not engage with this email right here.
All right, so today I'm going to cover one of the most underutilized channels that honestly like 1% of e-commerce brands actually use, and that's SMS marketing. You know, SMS is extremely profitable because it's such an intimate channel with a huge, like super high click rate. And so it's a huge opportunity for a lot of brands to actually make a lot of revenue, right? So as mentioned before, today I'm going to dive into a complete SMS marketing masterclass for e-commerce brands. So all the benefits, the strategy, and best practices. So with that being said, let me dive right into it. All right, so on the agenda that we've got today, first things first, I'm going to talk about why SMS marketing. Then I'm going to cover what platforms to use, then how to build an engaged SMS list, the must-have flows, a campaign calendar and best practices, and what to A/B test as well. So let's get started. Why SMS marketing? Well, first things first, as I mentioned before, it has a super high CTR and open rates. Even though those can be tracked, we know the open rates for SMS marketing is extremely high because, again, it's such a direct and intimate channel, right? So the spam folder doesn't really exist here. Second, people are way more likely to open and click an SMS than email. As I mentioned before, pretty much ties back to this point right here. SMS is an intimate channel, and people in general are way more likely to engage with it, right? Third, very cost-effective if used properly, right? The ROI you can get from SMS is extremely interesting if you have the foundations in place and you know what you're doing, because SMS can also become very expensive and not as profitable for if you don't know what you're doing, right? Fourth, it's one of the best channels for sales and product launches, in my experience. Because of its direct and intimate nature, SMS marketing is an extremely effective way to promote the special sales and product launches. So what platforms to use in general for SMS marketing? So there are three main ones that we actually use at the agency. First one being, of course, Klaviyo. And the main benefit here of using Klaviyo is that you will have all the email and SMS in one same platform, which makes reporting and just basically look at the numbers way easier. So we actually highly recommend using Klaviyo for SMS marketing as well, if you can. Another one is Attentive. Very good platform. The only issue I have with this one is that the default attribution settings are set as 30-day click, which is like crazy. Like 30 days is too much, right? But it's still a very good platform. Third one, we've got is PostScript, very similar to Attentive and very good platform as well. So you will not go wrong with choosing either one of these right here, okay? Now, next, how to build an engaged SMS list. Well, first things first is the main way to do so is by adding a second step to your pop-up, right? Provide an extra incentive to nudge people to provide their phone number. This is the best way to grow your SMS list. Usually, it is better to provide a better incentive for the SMS collection step, as it is a bigger ask, of course. So again, offers to test, a percentage off, fixed off, free gift, or a access to exclusive community. Like this example right here. Don't miss 20% off your order of brew, and then mobile number, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Second, utilize your current assets to get SMS subscribers. Current email lists and social media followings are great assets. Brands have to grow their email list, right? You can send an email, to your audience and or run a social media campaign where you provide an incentive in exchange for the phone number. Giveaways are also a good option. So you basically send people to a landing page with a sign-up form where they provide their phone number in exchange for, again, an incentive, right? For example, in this email, join our SMS list, get 5%, get $5 off your next order. Sign up now. So they're basically utilizing the current email list they already have, right? So they're not getting new people per se. They're basically utilizing the email list they already have. So those are the two main ways. Now, let's dive into the must-have SMS flows. And the difference with email marketing is that in general, like SMS marketing is way simpler and way more straightforward. So let's dive into the actual flows themselves. If you really want to make serious money with SMS marketing, make sure you set up the following automations up. Welcome series, where you have two messages, very, very straightforward. So you provide the incentive plus a reminder. Site abandon, one message. Browse abandon, one message. Cart or checkout abandon, one message. That's a very good one. Product back in stock, one message. And by the way, product back in stock is one of the most profitable flows you can set up. And for SMS marketing, this works extremely well. And optional, you could also have a customer winback, so one message as well. As you can see, pretty straightforward and pretty simple as well. Okay, now let's dive into a campaign calendar and the best practices for your e-commerce brand. For SMS, we usually send between 3 and 6 campaigns a month, 4 being, in our experience, the sweet spot and what we usually tend to stick to, right? Since, as I've mentioned multiple times before, it is a more intimate channel and intrusive channel, we don't want to bump up the frequency as much as we do with emails. SMS campaign ideation is pretty simple as well. Focus on 3 main pillars. First one, product launches, sales, and then engaging campaigns. And make sure your SMS copy is extremely concise and clear. Keep it engaging and don't go overboard. As I've mentioned before, SMS is very intrusive, so people don't want to read a novel. They just want simple sentences, very straightforward copy. So keep it light, engaging, and humorous as possible, especially if your branding guidelines will also be like funny, witty, etc. Works really well for SMS marketing. Now, segmentation. SMS segmentation doesn't provide as many options as email segmentation. For starters, we cannot track the opens with this mess. That being said, there are a few segments that you should definitely utilize. First one is the engaged segment. So someone has clicked in X days, has purchased at least once in X days, and has subscribed to text in the last X days. The second one, very straightforward, customers versus non-customers, right? So these are the 2 main segments you can definitely utilize for SMS marketing. Now, what to A/B test here? Very important module. First things first, you should definitely A/B test the content. The biggest A/B test we like to run at the content level is SMS versus MMS. MMS is basically an SMS with an image or a GIF, right? MMS are SMS that contain graphics, image, GIF, etc. And MMS, the only issue is that they're astronomically more expensive than SMS messages. So a lot of times, more often than not, actually, including a graphic in your message doesn't do anything. So make sure to A/B test that to see if it makes a difference. If it doesn't, they just don't do MMS ever because they're way more expensive. Second thing to A/B test is timing. Every audience is different, and so it is really important to test when to send your campaigns, your SMS campaigns. Morning time versus noon versus afternoon, so test that as well. And thirdly, length. Another A/B test we implement at the content level is shorter versus longer SMS messages. Most of the time, short and punchy performs best. But again, you never know. Every brand, every industry is different. So feel free and just make sure to test that out as well.
All right. So today I want to talk about the top 5 copywriting formulas for e-commerce email marketing. So these are formulas that we actually actively use at the agency that truly help us save time and just be more efficient. These are like battle-tested copywriting formulas taken from the direct response copy legends and principles, right? So that being said, let me dive right into the video itself here. So first things first, why are copywriting formulas useful? Well, there are 4 main reasons. First one, they provide structure. So copywriting formulas are invaluable because they provide a structured approach to crafting persuasive messages for email marketing and your e-commerce brand, right? Second, they of course save time. So instead of like starting from scratch, you can use these frameworks and they help you organize your thoughts and guide your audience way better and more efficiently, as I mentioned before. So if you're using, for example, AI or whatever you're using, and then you can basically utilize these formulas to create copy faster and just be more structured. And as I mentioned before, save time. Third, they are psychology driven. So by tapping into psychological triggers like curiosity, pain, or desires, formulas streamline your process and boost essentially engagement as well for with your email marketing campaigns. Again, email marketing is so your emails most likely they sell the click, right? And then your product pages, your landing pages, they actually sell the product. So by again utilizing those psychological triggers, it's gonna make your email way more effective. Fourth, they are clear and compelling. So in email marketing, as you may know, like especially right now in 2024 and going into 2025, attention spans are very short. So having a proven structure ensures your message is clear and compelling. It reduces the guesswork, saves time, and of course increases conversions, which is the main goal as well here. Now, let's dive into the actual copywriting formulas right now. So these are formulas we actually love and use every single day at the agency. We've generated over $20 million in revenue. And so we know that these formulas work pretty well for our campaigns, right? So first things first, the good old IDA. So attention, interest, desire, action. So IDA is a classic and highly effective formula because it mirrors the natural decision-making process for the customers. So first things first, attention. Grab the reader's attention with a strong subject line or opening hook, or basically headline. Interest, keep them reading by addressing a pain point or highlighting a benefit. Desire, build emotional resonance by showing how your product solves their problem. And fourth, basically seal the deal, have a clear and irresistible CTA essentially, which is pretty straightforward. Here, we've got deck the halls with vegetables, and then basically at the end, we've got the CTA. So this is a good example of the IDA formula being used for this specific email by Yama Naturals, okay? Moving on, we've got PAS, so problem, agitate, solution. So PAS, very classic framework for copywriting. So essentially here, PAS works by addressing the audience's pain points head on, then amplifying their urgency to act, right? So first things first, problem. You must start by identifying the issue your audience is struggling with. Agitate, stir their emotions by explaining the consequences of ignoring their problem. Solution, provide relief by offering your product as the answer. This formula is powerful because it makes the readers feel understood and positions your solution, your product, as a must-have. Here for this text-based email from Pub Labs, again, they dive into the problems, they agitate the problems, and then at the end, they basically, in this case, they pitch a video, but it's going to be VSL, video sales letter. And then at the end, they, of course, will basically promote their solution, their product, which in this case is pet supplements, right? Perfect. So moving on, we've got the PPPP, 4 Ps, problem, promise, proof, proposal. Very useful one. So PPPP is ideal for establishing trust while driving conversion. So problem, identify the customer's pain point. Promise, assure them your product can solve it. Proof, use testimonials, data, or case studies to validate your claim. And fourth, proposal, present a clear and compelling offer, CTA as well, right? So this formula works well for high value products where customers need reassurance before committing. For example, a fitness app email might say, struggling to stay fit, our app guarantees results in 30 days. Over 10,000 users have transformed their health. Join them today for just $9.99 a month. And I'm pretty sure you've seen very similar messaging in multiple like funnels and apps or emails, whatever it is, like this specific structure, because again, it's very, very useful and very used as well. So for example, here, an email from Sid, backed up, get back on track with DS01, the research-backed probiotic that supports regularity in as little as 2 weeks. And then they dive into like proof and stuff like that, right? And then social proof as well here. Okay, so very, very useful copywriting frameworks. And again, like you'll see, of course, there's overlap and some of them are very similar to each other. But at the end of the day, they actually follow very similar principles. And that's why they're kind of similar, but at the same time, they're different because they utilize different structures and they all work really well, right? It depends on the context as well, on your preferences as well, right? Moving on, Passer. So this is the last one, which is one of our favorite ones, to be honest. So here, the Passer framework is a storytelling-driven formula designed to build trust and drive action. So first, we've got the problem, identify what your audience is struggling with, amplify, highlight the stakes of not resolving the issue, story, share a relatable story to create emotional engagement. Fourth, testimonials, use social proof to build credibility, offer, presenting your product as a solution, response, encourage immediate action with a clear CTA. So this formula works especially well for nurturing emails or also storytelling campaigns. For example, are you overwhelmed by clutter at home? It's stealing your peace of mind. When Sarah started using our organizational tools, her life changed. She's one of the thousands of happy customers. Get started today with 20% off. Very simple example here. Or an email. So the copywriting framework on action here. Dream vacation quickly turned dangerous. And again, they dive into the story. What started as a fun winter mountain vacation for the Johnson family quickly became life-threatening, etc., etc., etc. And then at the end, they basically pitched the hero survival bag here, which is a great product. And that's essentially what the pastor formula is, as I mentioned before, or framework is. As I mentioned before, all of these formulas work really well, especially if you understand your customers really well. And that's kind of the backbone of everything. So you must understand your customers' pain points, motivations, desires in order to make all of these frameworks work. As you may probably know by now, most people will open your emails on their phone. So of course it goes without saying, but it is kind of important to make sure the content you send is optimized for their devices, meaning their phone. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering how to optimize your email designs for mobile and double, or to be honest, triple your conversions with email marketing. So with that being said, let me dive right into it. Before I dive into the different steps to take in order to make sure like the designs are optimized for mobile, let's talk about some extremely important stuff that you might probably know already or not. So these days, checking emails on the go is a breeze thanks to smartphones and tablets. Depending on your industry and who you're targeting, you can expect anywhere between 25 to 75% of your emails to be open on mobile devices. I'd say more than that, to be honest with you, more like 50 to 75%. So this shift towards mobile email use is not slowing down. Also, important to note that nearly a quarter of people who first open an email on their phone will give it another look later, often on their computer, which is really important. This second glance on a bigger screen makes them much more likely to click through. So that's why, again, it is very important to make sure the first email they see, which is on their phones, is optimized. So yeah, making your emails mobile friendly is crucial. If you don't, you risk losing half of your audience right off the bat, like that. And they just delete your emails that don't look good on their phones, right? All that effort you put into crafting your message, design, etc., offers could go down the drain if it is not optimized for mobile. So all this to say that right now, like most people, again, use their phones to check their emails, social media, etc. And I see many brands just sending emails and just previewing their emails on desktop, right? Not even previewing, like previewing on their Klaviyo account, for example, for desktop, and that's pretty much it, right? Instead, you should make sure that the email you create is optimized by previewing it with mobile on your actual phone to make sure it is looking pretty good, right? And that's something I'm going to cover later. But with that being said, let me dive into different steps to take in order to make sure your design is optimized for mobile. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you optimize your above the fold. So the above the fold section is the most important module of your entire email. Your ATF, so above the fold, is your hook, just like a Facebook ad, right? So it is critical to make sure people understand the offer, the angle of the email within the first 3 seconds. The headline, first subheadline, and first CTA should be all above the fold. Everything needs to be conveyed right away. So don't waste valuable real estate as most people skim through the emails. So what is, by the way, the above the fold section? The above the fold section is everything that comes before. When you open an email, the above the fold section is everything that comes before the first scroll on your phone. So meaning this section right here, right? I opened up these emails on my phone. I took these screenshots and I just didn't scroll. So this section right here, and this one for this one is the above default section. And as you can see here, they are optimized for these two emails because I can clearly understand what the email is about within the first 3 seconds very clearly. Plus, we can definitely see a CTA here as well. We see a headline, accompanying body copy, CTA, same thing here. I just understand what the email is about, the offer, everything, just before scrolling, because you want to catch people's attention and make them convert ASAP. Here, on the other hand, we've got 2 examples that don't really work without, they're not optimized on the above default section. So here we've got are you looking to supercharge your daily routine? Look no further, and free something here that I just don't understand what this is. No CTA, no nothing. So it's pretty vague, not very optimized whatsoever. And here cover stories, that's pretty much it, right? So it's not really optimized. Another point, which is, by the way, I'm going to cover later, is that as you can see for this email right here, the logo is not visible whatsoever because it is a black logo on dark background because of dark mode. And that's something I'm going to cover later, as I mentioned before, because that's kind of important, very important as well. So that being said, second step is to be aware of dark mode. Some studies show over 80% of phone users use dark mode. This wide adoption of dark mode means it is extremely important to optimize your emails for it if you want to maximize revenue and improve your customer experience, right? So these are the steps that you need to follow to make sure your email will look good in dark mode. First things first, use transparent PNGs. So all the images, slices you use, they should probably have transparent backgrounds overall. If it is, for example, a product shot, make sure the the PNG has a transparent background for the most part, right? And this is ideally, right? Secondly, which is kind of what I mentioned before, is make sure the email your logo has a white outline glow in order for the logo to be visible on dark mode. For example, as I mentioned before here, if this had a kind of outline glow, it'd be visible, right? So make sure your black, if your logo is black or of a darker color, it has a white outline glow, right? Thirdly, be mindful of just color changes and adapt your design. Like white becomes black, black becomes white. I don't know, like a red color becomes kind of a darker shade of color. So make sure like you use your brain and just make sure you're basically mindful of color changes. And most importantly, that you actually send a preview to your phone before scheduling the email. Klaviyo's preview or send lines, whatever, might be misleading, and every device inbox provider, i.e. Gmail, Outlook, whatever, is different. So preview your email on your phone prior to sending to ensure quality, right? I just cannot tell how many times we've saved our asses by doing this right here. So make sure you essentially like preview your email on your actual phone, right? Very, very, very important. Thirdly, make sure the color contrasts are visible. This is pretty simple, but things are smaller on mobile, so make it easy, make it as easy as possible to visualize your emails. Your branding guidelines should have colors that complement each other, and this is particularly important for email designs here. For instance, by the way, we see all over again the same logo mistake here, where it's not visible because it is black on dark background, but here this is not visible. This is the contrast is not there, and especially on your phone where everything, as mentioned before, is smaller, it's just very, very hard to read. So make sure the color contrasts are optimized right, for human eyes, right, human vision. Moving on, we've got make sure the fonts are large and clear enough. You see, if your emails are graphic based, then make sure the fonts in the designs are large enough so they're visible on mobile. The reason why is that since they're images, the text is not responsive, so of course it's not gonna get converted automatically, right? So here, for example, we can definitely see everything is pretty clear. I can skim through it very easily. I can read everything very clearly on my phone, etc., etc. It's large enough and clear enough. They're using fonts that are clear enough, right? On the other hand, here, this is really, really small, right? Same thing goes here. Even on my desktop right now, I'm having a very hard time reading this, and you can imagine on the phone is way smaller. So this is just not optimized whatsoever. So make sure again the fonts on your designs are large enough, right? And by the way, for email designs, people just don't want to read a novel. They just want to read like very small and concise paragraphs, and that's pretty much just a very short and punchy copy overall for your emails. People just don't read. That's the reality of it. Okay. Fourth, use lots of white space. Nothing worse than email with a ton of elements crammed together. It's not readable, and most people will close the email. That's how it is, right? So make sure you use enough white space so all the elements plus the copy of your email, they flow well and look great. It just makes the entire customer experience better and looks more aesthetic. So here, it flows really well. They have white space. It just flows, right? The copy, everything looks really good. And we have white space, nothing crammed together. Whereas here, this is too much, right? Many stuff just basically are very close to each other. Many elements, stuff like that. I just hate these emails, to be honest with you. And that's something you don't really want to do. I'm going to give you credit though. The above default section is optimized for sure. We've got headline, accompanied body copy, and then ACTA, which is good. But again, they're just not using white space whatsoever. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to go over a step-by-step process to create a high converting email design. So if you're an e-commerce brand owner or email marketer or email designer, you will learn a lot. And by the way, disclaimer, I'm not an email designer whatsoever. So if I am able to create an email design that's actually high converting, trust me, you can 100% do it too. So this is the copy that we've got for this product right here. We don't work with this brand at all. We just found it while doing some research for one of our clients. And so let's start with the frame. So the first thing you need to do is create a frame for your email. So you go here, click here, and then I'm going to create a frame. Typically with emails, they should be at least 600 pixels in width. And then when you export it 2x, so it's 1200. Otherwise, your email is not going to look great, right? So first things first, 600 in width. And then of course, the height depends on the email itself. But for now, I'm going to make it like so here. Now, the first thing that I want to do, and by the way, this is completely off the cuff, so bear with me here. The first thing I want to do is essentially have this free shipping over $50 banner on top, which I'm going to do right now here. So let me create a rectangle like so. And then here, the color, I'm going to pick this color with my Chrome extension here. Color copied, fill it with this color. And then for the text, I'm basically going to free shipping over $50. And I'm going to use this emoji right here. And then double click center. So by the way, for these, I think they're using Montserrat. Let me see, inspect. Yeah, Montserrat, and then they're using, this is a div assistant. So they're using Montserrat in assistant. So I'm going to use Montserrat for this one. And then obviously make it a little bit bigger here. And then position this like so. I think this is pretty solid. Now I'm gonna choose basically a hero image for this above default section, or you know what, let me make this a little bit smaller here. And then this as well. Again, just doing this off the cuff. And again, I'm not an email designer, so just trust me, if I can do this, you can do it for your brand too. Now, let's pick an image for the email. So I want to use, they don't have an image I can use on the product page, I think. So I guess the only thing they have is kind of this video right here. And of course, this is not ideal, but I'm going to take a screenshot from the video itself, even though it's not super optimized. You know what I mean? So let's do it now. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, I think this one. This is just for the sake of this video. Obviously, if we were working with this brand right here, we would actually ask for the assets, obviously. Now, let me put it here. Let me put it on the frame itself. Like so. So it's centered. I'm gonna create Command G, a group for this section. So it's on top as well. Like so. Okay, looking solid. What I would love to do is maybe add a shade because I'm gonna have some text. I'm gonna have some, of course, copy on it, right? Maybe like so. And what I would love to do is create potential. I would love to have a cool blend here. So I'm gonna click here. Sorry, I'm gonna click here again. Select this rectangle. Click here. And then here, and then I'm just gonna basically. Like so, move it like so. So it has a pretty cool like wave to it. So it looks very static, you know what I mean? And I would like to have some sort of like blend here, a gradient, potentially like so, and use the same color, I would say. So for this one, I'm going to use the same blue, and then this one, same blue as well. And then this one is going to be 0, and then this one is going to be 100. So it's a little bit too rough now. So let me play around with this right here. Yeah, I like it. Let me see. I like that it's not a big glow, and I think it looks really nice. So next, let's put some copy in here. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. So your wallet's new power move. Obviously, let me center the text as well. Montserrat, we can make it bold here, and obviously new power move. Like it. I'm going to increase here so it's a bit more visible, slightly, you know, maybe 40. Oh yeah, I think it's looking pretty nice in my opinion, to be super honest. Then here, phone dying. Just pull out your charge card, and then obviously here, and obviously for this text right here, I'm gonna use the other font they're using, which is I think called System, and semi bold, and obviously I'm going to, let's do 30. What if yeah, I think this is way better. In a different line. And then of course we've got I'm just thinking about like, yeah, I think this is better. And then let me add the CTA now as well, which is gonna be Montserrat, and it's going to be power up your wallet today. So again, I'm taking the copy from here, right? And then here, medium, obviously way smaller, 28. No, this is too big, 18. And then I'm going to create the button actually. So I'm gonna use a rectangle here, make it blue, and then have some corners here, like so. Phone dying. power up your wallet today. Maybe a little bit. Not as big here, like so. I think this is looking really freaking nice, in my opinion. I'm gonna group it here. Center everything. I'm gonna align the elements here. Let me see, where is it? Alignment. Yeah. Nope. Center. Just want to center all of them. And then next, I'm gonna potentially, you know what? Let me move the rectangle here a little bit. I don't think there's a need, because with emails, again, the most important one of the most critical things to do is to make sure the above default section has at least one CTA and has pretty much all the important information in there, kind of the angle of the email. As we can see for this one, this section already has the, you pretty much sold in a sense, right? You stay top of mind very, very, very easily, because if your first CTA and the first few like blocks of copy are way below the above default, then most people will actually close the email. They just don't care, right? So this is really good for now. Now let's create another rectangle. Oh, by the way, we lost kind of the glow here. So let me see if I can just find a way to make it look a little bit better. I mean, this is looking really solid in my opinion. But yeah, for now, let's create another rectangle and keep it going. So here. Now for this section, what I would love to do is kind of have a photo of the product and then the rest of the copy essentially. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick, because I think I saw the only image they have is like of the product itself is, let me see. I think they had one. Let me refresh the page here real quick. Yeah, this one. I think we can definitely use this one right here. Or let me see if they have another color. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna use this one, right? Seems like it's the only one they have. I'm gonna reduce the size here. And then I'm gonna get rid of the background by using a plugin, which is called Icons 8 Background Remover. Of course, you can do this with Canva or whatever. It's just easier for me to do it directly here. Now, yeah, as you can see, it's perfect. So what I want to do now is have a kind of a shadow effect at the bottom of the product, because it doesn't come with it naturally. So I'm gonna go into the internet and then find a photo that we can use as a shadow. So hold on a second. I'm just gonna do that right now and get back to you. So yeah, I downloaded this shadow photo from the internet. I think it looks really nice. What I don't like though is the fact that I cannot find this image right here, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that one would actually fit the entire email better, kind of a darker color, if that makes sense. Let me see, maybe let me go back to the, yeah, oh yes, this is the one I want. Good stuff. So I'm gonna copy it, go back to Figma here, and then paste, and then we have to remove the background again. So let's give it a couple of seconds. By the way, if you're running an e-commerce brand doing over 50K per month right now and you want a high-performing email marketing team to do amazing emails for you and just increase your retention marketing, please feel free to go in the description box below and then book a time that works for you using my calendar link. So that being said, let me get back to the email design. So here we've got I think it's looking really nice. What I would love to do as well here is like have this something like this where it kind of blends together really well, in my opinion. And then move the shadow as well, the shade here. I think it blends beautifully, to be honest. And then what if I create a second wave? Just let me see what I can do here. Sorry. Hit object. And then I click here. You know, like something like that where let me see the final result. I like it a lot, to be honest. Like, probably being biased, but I just think it looks really nice. And then here at the bottom, I'm gonna have this piece of the other subheader, which is why the charge card. And then I would love to have another wave here. So it actually with this rectangle. So I'm gonna click here again, bend tool, and then like so, very subtle, you know, very cool in my opinion. What do you think? Or is it maybe it's too rough? Let me go back to it. Just looking at it from a different perspective. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. What do you think? Yeah. When exporting, of course, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So we can leave it as it is. And then let's copy this text. So I'm just clicking on Option Shift to copy the text directly. And then that way I can have the second, subheader. I think it's looking, honestly, like, I think it's looking really, really solid. So why the charge card here? So we have 2 lines just because this one has also 2 lines. So it's looks better. You know what? Because I'm looking at this screen so I can have kind of a different overview. And I think for now it's looking really good. But yeah. Now for this section, for the body copy, I would love to have like icons. Just if I go to the website here, you can see we've got these ones right here. And then we've got like other, like these ones, I think. But they're looking kind of, I don't know. Let me see if I can copy them directly. Because we've got how many unique selling points? Ultra thing. Let me see if they have that. If they have that icon here. Ultra thing. Looks like it. Yeah. We've got universal, powerful, and then built to last. Yeah. This one too. We can use this one. Yeah, I think we've got all the icons here. So the first one I'm going to use is the ultra thing here. I'm going to copy it here. Scroll down. Copy. Yes. Perfect, man. This is great. And then for the text, I'm going to place all the icons first. So universal, powerful, and then built to last. Universal. Yeah, this one. Copy image directly. Powerful. And then build to last, basically. Alrighty. And then, of course, I'm going to make sure they are aligned here. Yeah, or let me make them a little bit closer here. And let me choose all of them and then center. Now let's put in the text. Well, I want to use this font here again as the font color. I think, let me check, but I think they're using black, basically, like so. So gonna do 2. Now let's move the copy for reference here. And then this is going to be ultra thin, fits in your wallet. Although for this one, I'm gonna choose bold, and then for this one, let me see if semi-bold or regular. Yeah, regular looks way better. Make it 26. Sweet, looks really nice. And then next point is universal. Universal. I think we're going to do 2 lines here. Fits in or fits in your wallet. Yeah, like so. Here I'm going to do USB-C, lightning, and then micro USB. Okay. Let me make the email longer. So, oh fuck, sorry. Oh, actually, these images, the icons are not here. Now it's better. Perfect. Now, let me add some text in here as well. Perfect. Next one is powerful. 3 to 100% extra charge. And then build to last. Here it's stainless steel design. And then up here, man, this is looking so clean. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I think it's looking really great. Let me make sure everything is centered. Everything, I think, is looking really nice. And then let's add another piece of copy here, which is going to be medium, because it's gonna be subheader, or a last piece of copy, the words thinnest portable charger, and then 32. And by the way, yeah, let me have another well, the second CTA here. So I'm gonna call this one CTA number 1. I'm gonna place it here. Yeah. And I'm going to call it grab. I'm gonna put the grab your charge card. And it's looking great. The last touch is, I would love to have, and this is not only the original copy here, but I would love to have some social proof. So I would love to have a testimonial in there, so it just converts way better in general. So let me go to the website and see if I can find something. So, well, the only one with an image is this one. So I guess let's choose this. So, this testimonial, Jordan Disney, amazing. I highly recommend this slim portable charger card. Yeah, I think I like it. So, well, for the testimonial, let me create kind of a rectangle here. I'm gonna have the photo on the left and then the copy on the right. So I don't want to fill it. I want to have a stroke, not fill it. Maybe 3. I think 2 is okay. I'm gonna center this. And by the way, I'm gonna group all of these right here into one group, which I'm going to call USPs. And then I'm gonna copy the image here, go to the frame. Yeah, obviously make it smaller. Like so. The rectangle should be on top. You know, I mean, the image is kind of weird. I don't know. I'm gonna crop it. It looks like elongated, but I think that's the original image. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like elongated. You know what I mean? But let's work with this one just for the sake of this example. Obviously, if you're adding social proof to your email, make sure the images are the best you can get, right? Obviously. But for the sake of this one, let's just do it this way. Let me see if I can add a stroke. Gonna be. Oh yeah, this is looking way better. I think it goes really well with the entire like vibe of the email. So let me go onto the internet. I'm gonna find kind of some stars or just illustrate the social proof. So let me get back to you in a second. Okay, so I basically ended up doing the entire social proof segment or like component. So what I did was I just copied some icons here with the stars and just placed the copy there from the social proof from the testimonial on the website, and then I added the logo here again, which by the way, we actually forgot to put the logo on top. Crazy. How did I forget about that? I mean, I wouldn't say it's super necessary, but ideally you want to have your logo on top as well. But it's fine. I think it's looking very, very solid now. And then we've got the logo here. We've got like 3 menus, and this is when you import it into Klaviyo. Essentially, you create the menu, and then you can add the the links and the copy there as well for these sections. So this is not going to be image-based menu. Obviously, it's like Klaviyo natively, and then just the kind of the unsubscribe button here with a piece of copy. But that's pretty much it for this email. I think it's looking really nice. Again, I could actually add the logo here on top, but for now, I think it's looking really, really solid in my opinion. What do you think? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, I know I've said this before, like multiple times in this video, but if I can do this, if I can create an email design that actually converts myself, I really suck at design. You wouldn't believe it. Trust me, you can do it too. So yeah, hopefully you found value in it. Hopefully you now know how to create high converting emails. We've generated over $20 million in email and SMS revenue. And today I'm going to show you exactly a step-by-step process that we use to basically export our Figma email designs into Klaviyo optimally. So in my previous video where I created this email design, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. But essentially, so we created this email design right here. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to import this optimally into your Klaviyo account. If you were to basically create an email design in Figma and you want to know how to export it optimally. First things first, I'm going to use the slice feature. So the slice feature here on Figma. So I'm going to click on S or click here. And then here, I'm going to basically break down the email into different sections, export them, compress them, import them into essentially Klaviyo. Of course, most of these sections here of the email is going to be graphic based, but not this section right here. So this menu as well as the unsubscribe button, of course, as well. But I'm going to show you how to recreate this into Klaviyo in a moment. So yeah, let's click on S again for this slice feature. And by the way, I know many people say that graphic-based emails hurt deliverability, but that's not true at all. We've tested it multiple times before with a bunch of clients, and we don't see any difference whatsoever when it comes to inbox placement. And they just look way better because if you're adding some HTML, so we actually create 2 types of emails, either graphic-based, purely or purely text-based. We don't go in between most of the cases because of primarily dark mode. Dark mode makes your emails look like crap, and sometimes if your email is graphic-based, you just don't need to worry about that, right? So with that being said, let me show you exactly how to export this into Klaviyo. So I'm gonna use this slice feature, select this first slice here, this first section, right? And then very, very important here, I wanna click on export and then export this at 2x. Why? Because if you export it at 1x, it's gonna be 600 width, and then it's gonna look like very like low quality once you import it into Klaviyo. So export it 1x, YouTube 1, let's call it, right? This section right here, YouTube 2, this here, like so, YouTube 3, YouTube 4, YouTube 5, and then YouTube 6 right here. Even this section right here, YouTube 6. And then I'm gonna go on to Google Chrome and then go to TinyPNG, which is the kind of the website we actually use for compressing images, right? So I'm gonna select the ones I just exported here. Let it load. And then I'm gonna click on download images. I'm gonna decompress it. And then I'm now able to create this. So of course, this is kind of a sample Klaviyo account. I'm gonna create a brand new thing. So change template here. Change template, create blank email. But before I do that, so this is the checklist we use internally at the agency to make sure we just don't screw it up. It's happened to me multiple times before, so that's why we have these checklists right here. So first things first, have a compelling subject line preview text sent to the right segment, check date and sending time, make sure the sender's email is the right one, make sure all the email elements are aligned centered correctly, have no spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes in, of course, the subject lines, but also the design itself. Make sure all the elements of the email are on both desktop and mobile. Make sure all the elements of the email look great on both desktop and mobile, especially mobile. Make sure that the email looks great in dark mode. But again, if you're using graphic-based emails, you don't need to worry about this. Make sure all the links in the email work. So we already have the subject line and preview text. I'm gonna create blank email just so we can just get started with this real quick. I'm gonna delete this section right here, sorry. And then I'm gonna delete these social links just for the sake of this email. And then for this section, I'm gonna add a second section, or I just could keep the same section. So I'm just gonna create the email here. I'm gonna add the first image. Of course, I'm gonna upload image, tinified, which is the one we use, YouTube 1. I'm going to click on duplicate here. By the way, before I do that, make sure, of course, the alt text here is optimize your wallet's new power move. And then I would actually just put the link here, like this one, right? And then duplicate it, replace, upload image, YouTube 2. Keep doing the same thing, replace, upload image, YouTube 3. Duplicate, replace image, YouTube 4. And then replace YouTube 5. And then last one here, YouTube 6. And as you can see, it looks great. If I go to mobile, it looks fantastic, to be honest. What I want to do now is, of course, add this section right here with the menu. Like so. So let's do it right now. You go on top here, and then you go to header bar. You get rid of this logo stacked, just links and buttons only. It's gonna be 3 links. Let me use a Montserrat Unfortunately, they don't have it, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to use another one. Of course, if this was your Klaviyo account, we'd actually use your font, but just for the sake of this one right here, what's the color? Let me use this. 20. Again, your desktop should be the main view you use. Of course, we've got this as well, but just for the sake of this video right here, and again, for not just in general, you have to make sure like everything is optimized for mobile primarily, right? Because most people will actually open your email on their mobile. So you can play around with this, depends on the text and everything you want to do. And here, of course, link one, we would actually use the website's link. So portable chargers, let's change it now. Portable chargers. What's the second one? Magnetic wallet here. Magnetic wallet, and then magnetic wallet, and then link number 3, portable travel safes. Portable travel safes. And then again, it depends. You can customize this however you want. And it depends. I mean, it depends on what you want to do, but I guess for mobile, it looks way better like this. I can play around with the padding as well. So if I do 5 instead, so this is the block padding. Sorry. So, it's lagging a little bit here, but if I do the padding for not for the block, but the link padding, this is way better. It depends. I would say 80 is fine. And then this is how the email looks. I think it looks really nice. I could just spend hours doing this, to be honest, because I just want this to be perfect, but you get the point. Email looks great, in my opinion. And this is how you import an email into Klaviyo optimally. One of the most important things is, again, make sure you compress your images before importing them into Klaviyo. That way, it's going to load faster, and then the customer experience is going to be better, and then everything is going to be better and optimized for sales. Another thing, which is kind of outside this video right here, but just to make sure that the above default section here, like all these section right here, is optimized for mobile, and then people can clearly see what the email is about, as well as the first ETA, as soon as they open the email. Okay. Alrighty, so today I want to cover the email design trends for 2025. Things have changed a lot. Hopefully you had a great Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Of course, email design is one of the most important aspects when it comes to having great email marketing. As I would say, if you're an e-commerce brand, 80% of your emails, even more, will be graphic based, right? So that's why it is extremely important to just keep these trends in mind if you want to apply them, because they are here for a reason. So with that being said, let me dive into the email design trends for 2025. So first things first is hyper personalization. Even though this is not exactly email design directly, it is extremely important to keep in mind, because hyper personalization is going to allow you to create email designs. I mean, email designs, of course, has copy, has strategy that actually makes sense for the person we are sending this to, right? And one of the best ways to do that is zero-party data. So emails with hyper personalization stand out and perform better, plain and simple, you know? The best way to collect data to personalize is by utilizing zero-party data. And you can do it through 2 main ways. First one is at the pop-up level, asking questions at the pop-up level to collect preferences, or through post-purchase surveys as well to understand needs, things like that. So essentially, relevant emails drive more revenue, and that's why your emails should reflect that as well. For example, you can recommend solutions based on a specific pain points that the person that, for example, completed the pop-up explain, or that they want out of your product, right? Or you can recommend solutions based on past purchases from the customers. For example, here I've got some examples of pop-ups collecting zero-party data. For example, here this is a creatine brand. You've got 20% cash back on your first order, what scientifically proven benefit of creating are you most interested in? And then of course you reply, you submit your, you provide your email address, and they will have a welcome flow tailored to what you responded here, right? So of course it resonates way more with you, and it's more personalized, and just it converts way better. Since we started implementing zero-party data with our clients, with the brands we work with, we've seen a huge improvement in conversion rates. It's been like night and day difference, to be honest with you. So if you can, please implement zero-party data today, right? Second example, you've got 20% off to claim your discount. Share with us your diet lifestyle, and again, they'll tailor the welcome series accordingly. You've got 10% off. Tell us what's your goal: better hair, skin, and nails, slimming down, balancing mood and energy, boosting immunity. And then, of course, again, they will tailor the welcome series and potentially other flows based on what you're responding here. Finally, you've got 15% off to claim. Tell us more about what you struggle with. There's a typo there. So getting to sleep, staying asleep, both. And again, they will tailor the welcome series, the copy, the actual solutions or products they provide, or that they present to you based on what you responded here. So it's way, way more effective. Again, this is not exactly email design directly, but at the same time, it kind of is, because you have to basically modify your email designs accordingly to what they responded, right? So really important, hyper-personalization is one of the most important things moving forward, especially as we go into 2025. Second thing is, well, graphic-based emails. I mean, you already know, like, some emails, there's like three main, I would say, types of emails. First one being image-based or graphic-based, purely, so only images, right? Second is text-based, so only text. So for example, text-based coming from the founders. And the third one is going to be a combination of both, which is the one I hate. So moving forward into 2025, what I've seen, the trends I've seen from other brands is sticking to one specific format. In most cases for e-com brands is going to be graphic-based emails. They just look great, and we have not seen any problems when it comes to deliverability from that perspective right there, okay? Visual emails are eye-catching and memorable, pretty much, right? We love image-only emails at the agency because of two main reasons. First one, we don't have to deal with dark mode. Your emails are not going to look ugly because of dark mode, right? Second thing is image-based emails reinforce a brand's identity, and they're just a piece of art, especially if the email designer knows what she or he is doing, and specifically if, for example, the design itself is also optimized for sales, right? Very important, since those are graphic-based emails, make sure you compress those slices, those PNGs, whatever you use. Keep image file sizes small to avoid long load times, just from a customer experience standpoint. Well-designed visuals build trust and make your email look professional. So for example, we actually use tiny PNG to essentially compress our PNGs or whatever we use, and it works really well. That's the platform we use all the time. Moving on, we've got the third trend that I've seen going into 2025 is minimalist designs. You see, minimalism works because simplicity cuts through the noise. There's something I hate is like when I see an email and it has a bunch of stuff crammed together, just a bunch of elements. It's overwhelming. It's chaotic, right? Avoid clutter, too many elements, confuse readers, and focus on just one main CTA. Don't have multiple CTAs and just talking about different things in one single email. It's too much, right? Use white space a lot as well to highlight key content. Minimalist designs are easier to skim, and most people just don't read, so they just skim through the emails very quickly. And that's why you want to make sure your emails are on the simpler side of things. For example, here, again, less is more. Clean designs equals more clicks, which equals, of course, more revenue generated. Here, I took this screenshot of my mobile, on my phone, and then, of course, as you can see here, there's a bunch of stuff that actually just even it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest with you. And then on the other hand, we have this simple, straightforward, beautiful email. That's pretty much it. And of course, I mean, you can, of course, take a guess which one is probably going to convert more. Of course, it's going to be this one right here, okay? Finally, fourth, we've got improved accessibility, okay? Now, Accessibility ensures everyone can interact with your emails. So, for example, make sure you use clear CTAs with large clickable buttons, especially if your emails are, again, graphic based. The buttons, they don't get formatted automatically, whether it is on mobile or desktop. So make sure they're big enough from the get-go, right? Large enough, right? Choose legible fonts and high contrast colors. Extremely important. I'm gonna show you an example later, but make sure you use legible fonts and high contrast colors as well. Add alt text for images so the message is clear if visuals don't load. Very important as well. So inclusive design broadens your audience and improves engagement tremendously. It's not just ethical, it's because it makes sense from a business perspective, especially these right here, like making sure if your email is graphic based that your emails are legible, the fonts are legible, large enough, and also that you use high contrast colors. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen an email with like a super bright background and bright font colors. It's impossible to read, especially for someone like me, because my eyes, my vision just sucks. So it is really hard for me on my eyes, especially again on my mobile because it's even smaller. And on that same topic, if the fonts are too small, it's really hard to read as well. And most people will actually close your email. So here, for example, this is a graphic base. Took this screenshot on my phone again. And as you can see, it's just very, very extremely small. It's impossible to read. I mean, really hard, right? Whereas here, again, clean and pretty straightforward. Shorts 101, stay cool and look sharp, shop shorts. And that's pretty much the email. That's going to be bread and butter. And this is going to perform really well, right? Very straightforward, okay? Hopefully this makes sense right here. Now we've got the pillar number 8, which is having a solid A/B testing framework. This is so critical. Some important points and concepts. Always have a hypothesis. A/B testing, just for the sake of A/B testing, will result in a waste of time and lack of efficiency. Before A/B testing a component of your email marketing strategy, you should always have a goal and a hypothesis in mind. For example, if your current pop-up has a 15% off offer and you want to A/B test it, then you should build a hypothesis around that. What if I increase to 20% or 25%? I'm pretty sure the opening will increase. Let's test it out, right? This is the scientific method. You have an observation, then you have a question, then you have a hypothesis, then you do the experiment, the A/B test, conclusion, and result, right? Very straightforward. And then after that, make sure that you define your KPI. You're not always going to aim to increase the place order metric or like revenue metric, right? With some tests, even if they impact the place order metric indirectly, the goal is to improve other vanity metrics, right? So depending on the A/B test you run, it's really important to define the KPI you're trying to maximize. It could be place order rate, could be click rate, could be open rate, could be opt-in rate, or whatever it is, okay? Track your results. With everything live, what gets measured gets managed, right? So when running an A/B test, make sure to write down the results you get from it for future reference. If your goal is to maximize your email revenue, then you will most likely be running multiple A/B tests simultaneously. Then that's why it is crucial to track everything you do at all times. Create a simple Google Sheet with different tabs, pop-ups, flows, and campaigns, and that's where you can run the different A/B tests simultaneously as well. Next, we've got another very important point, extremely important, is test one variable at a time. Much like a scientific experiment, if you test multiple variables in one single test and see a significant difference, you won't be able to pinpoint the exact needle mover. That's why when A/B testing a component, subject line, offer, copy, layout, whatever it is, ensure you only change one variable. Important. Wait until you achieve statistical significance to draw conclusions as well. For example, if you run an A/B test with Klaviyo, you'll be able to, that's going to automatically tell you when you have achieved statistical significance, okay? Now, next we've got, essentially don't waste your time A/B testing low leverage components. If you think about it, you can A/B test absolutely every single component of every single thing of your email marketing strategy. Button colors on a campaign A/B test. 4-day versus 5-day, delay on the third email of a customer winback flow, changing one word on one step of the pop-up form. Some things are just not worth A/B testing because they'll waste your time and the difference will be so marginal that it'll take ages to achieve statistical significance, okay? In the next slides, I'm going to cover what is worth A/B testing and where you should spend most of your time optimizing. So just pay attention here. First, we've got the pop-ups. So your pop-up, as I mentioned before, is the backbone of your entire email marketing strategy. Low sign-up rate equals way lower email revenue because less people enter your email funnels and you will not grow your email list as quickly. I've got a bunch of grammar mistakes here, so I apologize for that. There are 4 main elements you can A/B test with your pop-up. First one is the offer. So the offer in your pop-up is by far the biggest needle mover when it comes to your pop-up performance. So as I mentioned before, you can test a bunch of different offers here. Second, we've got the triggers. So what makes the pop-up appear also play a huge role in the opt-in rate. You want them to show at the right time for the best results. 3, design. Although not as important as the 2 previous elements, sometimes it is worth A/B testing some graphic components such as button colors, photos used, etc. To optimize it further. And then 4th, copy. The reason why I put copy as the last component is because in most cases, the pop-up copy should be extremely simple and straightforward. We want to convey the offer as soon as possible, all right? Without any fluff. So as I mentioned before, the offer is key. Some offers, static discount. This is better for high AOV products. Percentage discount, better for low AOV products. Free gift with product, free gift or product with first purchase. You can use a high margin product for this one as a gift. Free shipping because free always works. Giveaway, cashback, access to exclusive community. So there's a bunch of offers you can test. Feel free to test those and see which one resonates the most with your audience. Really important. So that should be one of the core tests you run at all times, okay? Next, triggers. There's not a lot of room for testing here on the pop-up triggers. However, there are certain things that can definitely make a difference. So use different triggers for mobile and desktop, right? You should actually have 2 different pop-ups, one for mobile and then one for desktop. For mobile, we use 8 to 20 second time delay and then a 60 to 80 second scroll distance percentage as well. For desktop, we use exit intent plus 8 to 20 second time delay and then a 60 to 80 second scroll distance percentage as well, right? So the only difference here is that for desktop, we also have a exit intent in most cases as well, right? In general, you can mostly play around with the time delays and scroll distance percentages to maximize opt-in rates. The biggest difference will come from A/B testing extremes. So 4 seconds time delay versus 12 seconds time delay. Design. So some designs elements you can A/B test: button colors, lifestyle versus product in use photos, sizing, formatting. Not a lot to test, to be honest here. Okay. Copy. So as mentioned before, pop-up copy is often overrated. With pop-ups, the most important thing is to convey the offer immediately. Pop-ups are intrusive by nature, so we want to communicate efficiently, right? So try to keep the copy short and concise. You can A/B test CTA copy or how you phrase the offer, etc., etc. For example, here, sign up and get 10% off. What about 10% off your first order, right? So it should make a huge difference, but this is something you can always test here as well. So also, that this is a very important point is make sure that besides testing the opt-in rate only, you also test the lead to conversion rate. This is where most brands and experienced email marketers miss the mark. When you A/B test a pop-up, you must take into account the lead to conversion rate too. What does that mean? It means the percentage of people who opted in and proceeded to place an order. The reason why this is important is that some offers might lead to a higher opt-in rate, but a lower lead to conversion rate. For example, a giveaway offer where you've got a bunch of people signing up to your pop-up because they want free stuff, but they just don't convert optimally. Ultimately, they just don't convert at all, right? This ultimately leads to being less efficient and profitable with your pop-up, okay? Now, another very important component to test is campaign components and formatting. So graphic-based versus text-based, for example. This is one of our favorite A/B tests to run at the campaign level. Lots of brands underutilize and underestimate the power of text-based email. So we like to A/B test a graphic-based email from time to time versus a text-based campaign, especially when running a promotion. Test it with your brand. The results might shock you because, to be honest, in most cases, text-based work better just because they're so different. People are not used to them, right? Benefits of text-based, easier to produce. Of course, it doesn't require any graphic component, better deliverability, genuine, original, and authentic. This is what a text-based email looks like in this case from Matt, the founder and CEO of Lofty, right? Very straightforward. Some other campaign elements to test. Emails are a compilation of modules. So when putting together an email, you can play around with the elements you decide to use and maybe test what formats tend to work better. For example, this is some of the modules you can use: social proof, product highlights, comparison tables, charts, guarantees, PR, dynamic blocks. And then, for example, here, and by the way, remember to test one variable at a time. Here, I've got a USB section here, whereas here, even though the top section is the same, here I've got some social proof, right? Very straightforward. Third, we've got sending day and time. So this one is pretty straightforward. Aim to maximize open rates when A/B testing, sending day and time. Of course, don't do this with time-sensitive promos and flash sales. So it could be Mondays work better, weekends, morning, late afternoon, evening. So run some tests, see what works better for your audience and your industry. Every brand and industry and audience is very different. So make sure you have some A/B tests running for this specific purpose here. Okay. Fourth, subject lines in high impact flows. Very important and very easy to set up as well. As simple as it may sound, testing subject lines in the first few emails of some high impact flows could make huge differences to your email marketing performance. Those flows include welcome series, abandonment checkout, and post purchase, right? Very straightforward. This one is our favorite A/B test to run because it is extremely simple to set up. And as I mentioned, it could yield great results. Let's say, you have a bunch of traffic and then you receive 10,000. You convert like 500 people every day through your sign up, through your pop up. And then there's let's say 1,000 new people receive your welcome series every single day, right? If you're able to maximize the opt-in rate, the open rates of your first email of your welcome series through A/B testing different subject lines, then the results are going to be amazing, right? The uplift in revenue is going to be tremendous, okay? So no excuses. Make sure you run these subject line A/B tests on a consistent basis as well. I'm so excited for this video right here because honestly, I'm going to share so much value with you. I'm going to share pretty much all the prompts we actually use at the agency, and I'm going to save you thousands of dollars and also tens of hours per week with this AI email marketing masterclass, when I'm going to show you how to skyrocket scale your email revenue in half the time without the headache. So I'm going to share with you how to come up with amazing email ideas or basically build an email calendar for your brand, create amazing high converting copy, doing market research, everything with AI. And again, I'm going to share with you the exact processes we use at the agency, the exact prompts we use as well. So with that being said, let me dive right into it right here. So first things first, as you may know, AI can streamline research, planning, execution, helping you create high converting emails in a fraction of the time. But to use AI effectively, you need the right prompts and inputs. And this is where most brands and email marketers really miss out on, is how to use AI correctly for email marketing in e-commerce, right? So I'm going to share with you pretty much everything you need to know when it comes to that. So here's how to leverage AI correctly to save time while maximizing revenue. So this is the agenda. I'm going to share with you AI for customer research first, and then AI for building a powerful and balanced email calendar, then AI for maintaining brand congruency, then AI for writing high converting email copy in seconds, and finally, AI for subject line optimization. So again, everything you need to know when it comes to AI for email marketing. So let's get started with AI for customer research. Understanding your audience is the foundation of effective email marketing, as you may or may not know. AI can quickly analyze large data sets, reviews, surveys, and support tickets, and uncover common customer motivations, objections, and behaviors. So for this to work, you need the following: a data set of customer feedback. For example, you can mine Amazon reviews, surveys, support tickets, etc. You need clarity on the product and the industry you're analyzing, or your industry. You need to segment properly, so prospects versus customers. and then essentially be witty, charismatic, and fun. So this is the actual prompt we use here. If we export Amazon reviews, we use this prompt. So you basically input the Amazon reviews on a Google Doc or whatever you're using, and then you tell ChatGPT, or in this case, we actually mostly use Claude. You tell it, above you can see a bunch of 5-star reviews for your product. Please summarize the 10 most common things the customers say, the benefits they experience particularly. So use this one to identify recurrent themes in customer feedback and position your email messaging around what truly matters to buyers. And then to generate a detailed customer persona, this is another prompt we use. Describe the customer who would buy pet supplements or whatever your brand does, right? Or sells. Describe their age, their looks, what they wear, what they do for a living, what hobbies they have, what the most common pain points they experience during the day, what they secretly desire, and their day in life. Use this to craft hyper-personalized email content that speaks directly to your ideal customer's needs, desires, and struggles. So, successful marketing, not only email marketing, but also like paid ads and whatever, really stems from understanding your customer audience to the T, to the core. And these types of AI prompts really allow you to understand it really, really well, and then create marketing messaging that actually resonates with them, right? For example, a output we got here for the pet supplements example, you've got demographics, appearance, professional life, whatever, and just a bunch of stuff that's really, really helpful and also eye-opening, okay? So this is how you essentially use a data set or just AI in general to understand your customer really, really well, right? So customer research, which is the backbone, as I mentioned before, of any successful email marketing and just marketing strategy in general. Secondly, we've got AI for building a powerful and balanced, keyword balance, email calendar. So what do I mean by balance? Basically making sure that the emails we send are also educational, brand building, social proof, etc., and not only promotional and salesy, right? Which is extremely, extremely important. All right. A well-structured email calendar ensures you send the right mix of promotional and value-driven content while maintaining consistency. AI can help automate planning based on seasonality, customer behavior, and brand positioning. So the prerequisite for this one right here, a brand description, products, audience, USPs. If you've got a brand deck, that works really well. And also brand tone of voice guidelines, formal, playful, direct, etc. And this is going to be a very, very, very long prompt. So feel free to pause the video and essentially take a screenshot of it. Or if you want me to send over the prompt, feel free to comment below, and I'll be more than happy to share this with you as well. So yeah, you're an expert email marketing strategist. Create a comprehensive email calendar for your brand for the month, brand context, and then you set your brand description, brand voice, email calendar specifications, and the frequency here depends on your brand. I'd say between 2 and 7 emails a week. Content balance, mixed promotional and value-based content, no discount codes, sales collaborations, or product launches unless specified, because every brand is different. And I don't know. I mean, depends on your brand, of course. That's why we actually use the unless specified. All right. Email structure requirements for each email concept provide specific calendar date, clear email concept theme, email type category, detailed content focus with specific angles, stories, or educational elements, key message takeaway for customers, and then important strategic considerations. And this is really important here. Browse, identify, and incorporate all relevant holidays and seasonal moments in, let's say, April that align with the brand's identity and offerings. These relevant holidays can be popular, Valentine's Day, for example, and niche. Example, by Bikini Day for a swimwear brand, right? Or, I don't know, a pet day for a pet supplements brand or something like that, okay? Address potential customer objections where appropriate. Focus on storytelling, education, and building emotional connection. Follow the content balance principles from the training document. And these here, we actually provide a training document we use. You can actually, for example, you can go into my YouTube channel and then have a transcript of my videos, some of my videos, and then use that as the document, to be honest with you. So promotional versus value-based. Keep emails concise and focus on a single clear message. Incorporate social proof strategically, and then incorporate text-based emails. Example, personal note from the founder, strategically as well. Remember, there's no set insurance strategy. Use common sense about what will resonate with this specific audience. Email frequency should feel appropriate for the brand's relationship with customers. Maintain the brand's authentic voice throughout all concepts. Include a healthy mix of promotional and non-promotional content. Simple, clear messaging performs better than complex approaches. And then finally, please organize the calendar chronologically with clear formatting that makes each email concept easy to understand at a glance. All right? Very, very good prompt. So you can use this one to generate a structured, well-balanced email calendar that aligns with business goals and customer engagement trends. This is a master prompt. I should be charging for this, to be honest with you, but just providing value here. So yeah, feel free to pause the video and then go over the prompt itself. Okay, moving on, we've got AI for maintaining brand congruency. So this is really important because sometimes, as you may have probably noticed already on social media or even email marketing, you can definitely tell when something has been written with AI. It looks generic, robotic, not natural at all. So we want to make sure the copy we create is aligned with our tone of voice and branding guidelines. So for that, we'll use the following prompt. So yeah, AI can help you write compelling email copy faster, but to maintain brand consistency, congruency, you need to train AI to match the brand's tone and voice. Prerequisites here: brand identity doc, as I mentioned before, mission, audience, style guide, messaging, website, and social media copy. So you can scrape that using API, which we do, or manually export it, and then 100 plus past subject lines with open rates for analyzing high-performing structures. So prompt we use is analyze the tone of voice for your brand based on the assets provided, which include website content, social media content, brand identity doc, and previous subject lines. Look out for the following: tone and style, language patterns, emotional impact, audience engagement, values, and messaging, right? Conclude with actionable guidelines for writing emails in this tone, including specific do's and don'ts. Provide 2 to 3 examples of copy that align with your analysis to make sure AI understood what your branding guidelines are when it comes to copy. So use this one to ensure that AI-generated copy stays on brand and feels natural to customers. And then we actually use this one. You are an expert e-commerce email copywriter for a marketer for your brand. You'll always respond in this specific tone of voice and style when writing email copy, right? Really important. Next, AI for writing high-converting email copy in seconds. You'll be surprised by how good this is, actually. So yeah, once AI understands the brand's tone, you can use it to generate engaging, conversion-focused email copy in seconds. So prompt we use: act as an email copywriter and we'll write a 50 to 100, 50 to 75 word design email with this angle, the angle of the email, right? That, for example, AI already provided for you on the email calendar section of this video. At the end, slip the pitch to our product in a subtle and smooth way. Depends what you want to ask here, of course, depends on the brand. Product name, product description, writing guidelines, 1 to 2 sentences per paragraph, make the copy engaging, write at a 5th grade level English, make the headlines and subheadlines 4 to 7 words long, tone of voice, align with assets provided, website, streamer content, etc. Don't use filler words, just keep it direct. Email length depends on the client and of course, the type of email. 50 to 75 words. Avoid these words: unveil, discover, unlock, because these are very AI heavy. There are more actually, but these are the most common ones in my experience. So use this one to generate high converting email copy tailored to the brand's voice and audience. All right, very, very powerful. Finally, AI for subject line optimization. So subject lines are critical, as you may know, for open rates. AI can analyze hundreds of past subject lines to identify what works best. So the prerequisites here is you need at least 150 to 100 subject lines that you've sent before, ideally, right? At least 100, I'd say, with the open rate. So you can export that through Klaviyo, for example, really easily. Prompt we use is analyze these 250 plus subject lines with open rates to find what drives success. For high performance, Look for emotional triggers, word count, phrasing, and common themes. Highlight specific language or structures that increase opens, such as intrigue, urgency, or clarity. For low performance, identify elements to avoid, like vague language, excessive length, or overly salesy tone. Summarize these insights into actionable guidelines for writing high impact subject lines, and then you can use the prompt that AI provides here for creating amazing subject lines for your brand. So yeah, use these to refine subject lines and dramatically improve open rates. So that's pretty much it for this video right here. To be honest, this is, if you can apply these changes to your in-marketing strategy with AI, I can guarantee you'll save, as I mentioned before, tens of hours per week, and you'll make way more money. Now, if you're running an e-commerce brand doing over $50K per month right now, and you want a high-performing email marketing team to handle retention marketing and help you out with that, then feel free to reach out to me. A link to my scheduler, it's going to be in the description box below, so feel free to go in there and book it. That works for you. We'd be more than happy to put together a specific audit, like in-depth Klaviyo audit for you, as well as a specific plan of attack for your brand for this year right here. Also, feel free to sign up to my newsletter. A link to sign up is going to be in the description box below as well. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.